morning, everybody. Ben and Woods. Get your head right on I'm going to guess. Today's Thursday. Today is Thursday on the program, right?
No.
Thursday,
You're close.
Wednesday.
It starts with a T.
Today is Tuesday, January 13th. I have lost all track of time and space and everything else. Great to be here with you, though, this morning. We are live from Padres Fantasy Camp. A couple days left, and then we are back to San Diego. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rhino, the executive producer of the program. Good morning to you, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great, Pally. And to my right, the slugger, Benjamin R. Higgins, our friend, the chairman. How you feel after yesterday's feeble ground out to short? But I'm going to give you, you get credit for the contact. No, see, that's what I think. If you missed it, we put on social media. Ben said last week, he goes, man, I want to get out there. I want to take an AB. I want to take you deep. And I go, man, those fields are pretty big. They're pretty big. And I did say on the air, I don't throw very hard, but I bet you I can get one, get it by you. And so yesterday after the game we played, I said, Benny, grab a helmet and batting gloves. I gave you my batting gloves. I gave you my bat. They put a helmet on you. You got up there. You're in your, Viore pants and a golf shirt and your sunglasses, and you throw a helmet on with 2 seconds, and you go up and
I've literally not taken a swing, even in a batting cage, in
40?
At least 30 years.
35.
Probably against a real pitcher since I was 15.
That's
so
unbelievable.
35 years since I faced a real pitcher, and it was very quick. We're doing this now.
It was very quick for me.
Yeah.
I looked around. I said, he's here. Paulie's here because we played Paulie's team. And I go, the mound is here. Harry, our catcher, is still in his gear. I go, Harry.
There's no better time.
There's no better time. And we'd have to go set it up. I said, we're all here. Let's just do it. So I grab the ball. I take 3 warm-up pitches. I go, all right, get in here, Benny. So he comes up.
I was really nervous.
You were nervous.
I was shaking almost on that first couple pitches.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I got to tell you, I was nervous too because I have been known to hit people. I've been known to hit people at fantasy camp all the time. I have never once meant to hit anyone at fantasy camp ever. I've never meant to hit anyone. And I've hit already. I've thrown like 5 innings, and I've hit 3 people. 1 guy square in the back, 1 guy, 2 people in the top of the back. I don't mean to. I'm just wild. So when I saw my big guy get in there and dig in the box, I went, all right, dude. Bits are bits, but please don't hit him. I was so afraid I was going to rip a 2-seamer into his ribs, and it was just going to put him down.
And the first pitch, you yanked into the opposing batter's box.
I was so scared.
I did take it, which, I felt, okay, I've taken a pitch, and I thought.
Ben, Ray Charles would have taken that pitch. It wasn't even close.
But it made me think, okay, Woods doesn't want to hit me, so it did make me feel a little more comfortable. And then you got one past me, high, but it was my first swing. I was late, very late on the first swing. Timing was off. And then the second swing was a good pitch, low outside corner, lunged out it, missed it. So I'm down. I got him
set up 1-2.
Down in the count 1-2. And then the fourth pitch, I actually ticked.
Yeah.
I fouled it.
You had a good swing on it.
Just got a piece of it and fouled it back behind the plate. So I stayed alive. And then you tried to throw a cutter.
Yeah.
And you missed it high, a little outside. So I took that one. I felt good about the eye. I was starting to see you a little bit better. And then as I watched the video later, Paulie said, give him the high cheese.
High cheese.
But you kind of let it leak a little down and in.
It came up. It was in.
And I was able to – I turned the hips a little bit.
Through the head.
And
those feet were moving. He was moving to get out of the way.
Dancing, but I also got the bat on the ball and – hit a ground ball that, it might have gotten through the 5.5 hole. Depends on who's playing shortstop.
Maybe it's a fantasy camp knock, I think, out here.
Possible. Very possible.
But, man, it was funny because, we posted the video, and Ben was happy and I was happy. But people were like, oh, well, you got to give up baseball now. And I go, no, we don't have that kind of show. A couple things. I really didn't want to hit him. I mean, if I had hit him, I would have felt like such a turd. But number 2, I also didn't want
the noise he would have made, by the way.
Oh my God! It might have been worse. So we don't have the I didn't want to embarrass him, and I didn't want to be embarrassed.
There was a part of me that was thinking, for the bit, is Woods going to hit me? Because
I did not want to. I would never.
I cannot deny the entertainment value of seeing it, and I know you love entertainment value,
but not at your expense.
I mean, I thought
not at your physical
not at your
expense.
physical, your mental expense, yes. Your physical expense, no. I never want to hurt you physically. I know that you're not. Can I say this? You're not going to be able to take a pitch, not just from me. If I throw this one from here, you're going to go, ow! Yeah. So I really didn't want to hurt you, but I also wasn't serving it in there. I mean, I was throwing right. I was throwing normal. I don't throw hard anymore at all, as you can tell. But it's crazy because you think you throw a lot harder than you do till you see it on video, and you're like, that's kind of a loop in there. That's about all I got. I mean, and so, but it was, I put my arms around Benny. I go, I'm so proud of you. And I go, I think that's a result that both of us can live with, because we don't have the kind of show where we're like constantly in competition, and I could not work on a show like that. I've been on shows like that, and it is no bueno. It's just not fun. So I was proud of you. I was happy that you got some wood on it. And what it did though, is made me go, we have a year, Paulie, to get him out here and to get him to at least play one stinking game.
It's the first time in 7 years now that you've been coming.
Yeah.
After I took the swing, I actually did start considering the possibility
of doing it.
Maybe I could, with enough prep.
We spend the next year getting you ready. Baseball ready.
Maybe I could do this next year.
It was awesome. It was so fun, and
thank you for making that happen.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing it.
I enjoyed the moment.
I have been told, you just say the word, and there will be a uniform ready for you next year,
100%.
even if it's just for one game. I think maybe, it looks like you and me are at least going to play each other. If we're not on the same team, we'll play each other for one of those games. We got to have them out there on one of our teams and just play.
Yeah, there's no question. And we could spend the next year getting you ready, because I'm looking around out here, and, there's a guy with one arm, and he's playing. There's a gal with one leg.
He's got great calves, though.
Bro, he and Ben had a calf off.
We actually were measuring calves. It came out
Josh
really
Cinemo.
Josh Cinemo. He was a Olympic. He won
shot putter.
Yeah, shot putter.
Yep.
He's so freaking strong. He bats with one arm and throw. He pitches. He plays first. He does the Jim Abbott glove thing. It's incredible.
I was on his team last year.
The
year before.
I'm on his team this year, and so it's one of those things where it's like, man, we can get you dialed in and at least come out and play a game. Did it give you a little bit of the itch to stand in there again?
Tiny bit, actually.
Tiny bit. Yeah.
There was a surge of adrenaline.
And the problem for now, if you had to play a game today, would be defense and
running. Yeah,
correct.
I did not.
But no one out here. No one out here can run.
Half the players here have designated runners.
Yeah, so no one out here can run. I thought your swing looked. We could work with it.
Oh yeah, it wasn't great, but it wasn't.
You got hand-eye, like you could hit. It wasn't awful. Guys
it wasn't
out
awful.
Here. But I was very. Here's the other thing. When I said, Benny, grab a helmet, he goes, okay, let's do this. And that's what I wanted to commend you for, because not everybody's willing to put themselves out there to do that.
By the way, there were a lot of people out there watching.
A lot of people.
You're a very popular person out here, Ben.
The game had just wrapped up. Your guys' teams played against each other, and everyone was starting to leave. And then when they saw this happening, I saw everyone to stop and turn around and go, I wasn't expecting quite the audience for this. I thought maybe private backfield moment with just the three of us.
Right.
But no, I mean, there were campers. There might have been a couple of coaches still around.
Well, there was one. So one thing that's always kind of funny to me out here is we'll go out on these backfields at the complex and play our games. And on the walk back to the facilities from like field 6, there's always autograph hounds. They got their books full of cards, and they know that, Terry Kennedy and Tim Lawler and Jake Peavy and Andy Ashby, they're all walking around, so they want to get these autographs. So Jake Peavy he's my coach. He was at that field. He was signing autographs for people when we did the bit with Ben.
He was so mad
he had his back turned to the field. He was talking to these people that came out and wanted an autograph and a picture and all that. And, great for them. But Peavy missed the entire thing. He saw the celebration. He came running out on the field. And he goes, did he effing hit one off of him? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I should have gone back to the two-seamer. It's just a good lesson. The two-seamer was working, and you weren't hitting it.
Sequencing, is important.
And then what did I do? I showed you a pitch up, and you took it. So what do? I throw it middle in, and all you got to do is drop the head on it, and you hit a 6-hopper. into the infield
through the left side,
to the
into left field.
I would say probably right to the shortstop, but that's okay. I mean, you got Wood.
I saw a big hole on the left side of the field.
Yeah, because there's no fielders there.
There's no fielders. That's what I was going for. I saw a big hole. I was going to take advantage of the defensive shift, which was shifted off the field.
Yes, shifted off the field
time, and used that to my advantage.
But it just made me go, look, man. Number one, what a gamer for putting his helmet and his batting gloves on and grabbing a bat, because
I was never a batting gloves kid. I think that was the first time I actually wore batting gloves.
You raw dogged it?
Yeah, I did.
Wow, what a hard ass. I didn't know you were such a hard ass.
I never used batting gloves until yesterday, but I liked the feeling. It was nice.
Yeah.
And so before that, though, was the game between your guys' teams, too.
It was
I will say Paulie made one of the best defensive plays I have seen at third base going back. That tough one that Manny makes look really easy down the line, but Paulie made a fantastic play, and I was going, I don't think I'm going to see a better fantasy camp defensive play until the next pitch when your shortstop made a diving catch that would have been like a web gem on SportsCenter, like an unbelievable diving play. And I will say the defense that both of your teams play was far above fantasy camp norms.
The level of competition and level of play has gone up tenfold from how it started here at fantasy camp. So it's actually, we played some really good baseball.
Now your offenses, neither of them were good.
Well, the pitching was great.
Pitching was tough for both teams.
Nasty arm.
Our team stacked up with pitching and defense, and it showed every minute of that yesterday. We lost. You guys ended up winning 3-0.
3-0. I think we got 2 hits.
That could have. I think we had 1 hit. I mean, that easily could have been a 1-0 game. And it was a great. I had so much fun
hits
playing.
As Paulie's entire team.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, did. You did.
Not really, but yeah.
Okay. It was. But it was a really good game. So my team.
But it was a well played 6-inning baseball game with good pitching. Got to see Dave McCary out there on the mound throwing in his submarine style. He's going to join us actually later on the show today. Looking forward to that.
You guys are going to love him, man.
He's had the ups and the downs of fantasy camp, and he was telling me and Peavy and Ashby were talking to him after his outing yesterday. His first time on the mound, he struck out 7 in 3 no-hit innings. He could not be touched. And then yesterday, it was walk, hit by pitch, walk.
Hit by pitch.
It was rough. And he goes, to experience that amount of the high of coming out here for the very first time and striking out 7 with Trevor Hoffman there watching you, he goes, it was unbelievable. And then to get out here and feel like I just lost my team a spot in the championship game. He goes, I'm in the chamber right now.
Yeah.
Go, yeah.
As baseball. Somebody that's cost their team championship spots many times out here at fantasy camp, it's not a great feeling.
But this year, you are going to the championship. Yeah, even with a day remaining, you have clinched your spot in the championship game.
You guys got to be the heavy favorites.
5-0
tomorrow.
5-0. I've never been 5-0 at fantasy camp. I've never been 2-0 at fantasy camp. So this has been a fun experience for me. Really having a good camp this year. I did get out twice yesterday. Paulie, they have the nastiest pitcher out here, a guy by the name of Kevin McGarity, Jeremy McGarity, and he threw me 3 straight sliders, embarrassed me. I mean, just embarrassingly. You saw it.
I was watching.
Those are no joke, right?
Yeah, they were serious
stuff.
Yeah, those
he
were
bounced around in the early 90s. He was drafted by the Cardinals. I think he said he was in the Rangers organization.
He's
as well.
6'5", just nasty.
A dog.
So
they had to change the rules. He's been to every fantasy camp, I believe. Just about, and they had to change the rules for him because I was on his team. I think the very first year he would just go CG 7 strong every other day, like every single time out there. And they were like, all right, so we're going to do this new rule. No pitcher can go more than 3 innings. So everybody else has a chance to get it.
Except the championship. So if you have a horse in the championship, you can use them. We don't have one. So we'll figure it out, but it's been such a fun time, man. And I spent yesterday about an hour with. This is crazy. If you're a Padres fan listening right now or you're a baseball player, spending about an hour in the middle infield with Chris Gomez, with Tim Flannry, and Gary Templeton. And they're working double plays and showing us how to do it and telling stories and giving you instruction. And Flan was hitting me fungos on my knees. And it's just It's what this week is all about. I love it that it's not just the guys coming in and saying, all right, go play with yourselves out there. And no, they're out there showing you, hey, this is how you want to be.
With former MLB All-Star
Mark Loretta.
I didn't even know he was there. Flan hit me one, and I flipped it to second, and I go, that's Mark Loretta.
I'll tell you another thing, too, is Flan put Archie, Loretta, and Gomez all on their knees with a glove. And he starts ripping fungos at them from 30 feet. Every one of those guys look like they could go out and play second base in the big leagues today with their gloves, their hands. And you see that's the difference in me and every other guy out here and those guys. The softest hands you've ever seen, so calm and quick to the ball. It's so rad to see and so much fun to be a part of. So it was really a special day. Very excited. Today is kind of for us, it's just a don't get hurt day. We have a game off the machine, and we're just going to go out and have fun because we've already clinched a spot in the championship game, which will be tomorrow late. So I'm not going to be getting home to San Diego
fighting for
late.
Third place, and we need to get some hits. We're on like a 12 or 13 scoreless inning streak right now,
which is hard to do at fantasy camp.
Very
it's hard to do to go one for the day, 2 days in a row.
PV is blaming the fact that the batting cages that are right next to the facility are closed and under construction. He goes, we can't hit. This is screwing everything else up. So I'm going to have the clubbies they're going to have a machine down at the other cages. Anybody that wants to get some work in this morning, we're down there because we need it. We're still fighting to get into the third place game and try to medal.
Do you have the video I sent you?
I do.
All right. So here's a moment that I don't think I will ever forget for the tier ones out there. Go out to pitch the other day, and Trevor Hoffman, Hall of Famer, is sitting on the cart, and he's watching this warm up. And so I just happened to look down at my shoes or my cleats, and I went, man, it's so heavy. It's all muddy. The mound's very tacky and muddy. And I just kind of signaled. I said, do we have a scraper? And
one of those big tongue depressors that they use to get the mud out of your cleats.
And I said, do we have a scraper I can scrape up before this outing? And not to be a diva, but, they're heavy. Like, my shoes are really, really heavy.
You don't want to slip.
I don't want to slip. And so I asked, and, Art, he said, we don't need one. Just click your shoes together. So I tried to click my shoes together. It would knock them off. It's so thick. All of a sudden, running out of the gate, like he's running out to close, save number 450 is Trevor Hoffman. He's got a tongue depressor in his hand. So I go to reach for it. Like, thank you, Trevor. You're the best. He goes, no. Put your hand on my shoulder. Kick your foot up. So I kick my foot up. Trevor Hoffman, scraping my shoe. I go, dude, thank you so much. And everyone's like, yeah. Give me your other foot. Put my other foot up. Scrape. Trevor Hoffman, Hall of Famer, cleaning some schlub's cleats at fantasy camp. And I thought, that's a moment I will never forget for as long as I live. So that's just the kind of human beings all of these coaches are. But even the Hall of Famer out here at fantasy camp is scraping some peons' muddy cleats for him. Isn't that cool?
Maybe we get a whole series of Hall of Famers doing menial tasks
for us.
Woods. Here's Derek Jeter doing Woods' laundry.
Ray said that's like Jesus washing the apostles' feet. That's exactly what it was, man. That is exactly what it was, man. So it was special. It's just been a real special week altogether.
We also had some fun after all the games last night. We had our roundtable. Major Garrett spun tales from his amazing career covering politics in Washington, D.C. Dave McCary talked about his work in Hollywood and some of the projects he's working on with all of the campers. And with over 100 now, that room was packed. It was a great audience in there. And then afterwards, you may have seen his stuff on social media. Have you ever seen Batting Stance Guy?
Oh, yeah.
Gar Rines. He was actually here.
That was really cool.
And did imitations of some of the fantasy camp coaches here, like their batting stances. And it's uncanny. When he got up there and did Chris Gomez, I haven't seen Chris Gomez bat in 25 years ago. That is exactly Chris Gomez. That was his batting stance. That's what he looked like when he got up to the plate.
Well, Terry Kennedy, he's the best, but he's also like, I'll believe it when I see it. He sits back and the guy goes, do Terry Kennedy. And Kennedy goes, no way, you can't get me. And within 10 seconds, he goes, oh, my God, look at that. I mean, it was dead on.
And Batting Stance Guy did his homework because he even did Archie Sinfracco.
Yep.
And I don't think I've ever seen anyone happier than Greg Vaughn watching batting stance guy
Duarke
Sinfrocco,
yeah.
just was laughing his head off. Kept going, Duarke again, Duarke again.
It was so good.
They all loved it, which made me happy to see the coaches enjoying the performance so much. But that guy's a talented dude, and it was fun. I followed him on Twitter for years.
Yep.
First chance to actually meet him and see him do his craft in person. And I would say it's better in person than it is even watching on social media. It's very cool.
Let's take a break. First of all, shout out to Xavier on his 11th birthday. That's our beloved Rafa's son.
Aww.
Said he asks for his Ben & Woods every single morning. So Xavier, this is your birthday show, buddy. Happy birthday to you.
Birthday, buddy.
And it's crazy that an 11-year-old is listening to Ben Higgins, at the strip club and all the dirty things that he does. I'm so sorry, Xavier, for corrupting you, or Ben corrupting you at least. But thank you for listening, buddy.
All right, coming up, we will get you ready for some of the guests. We mentioned Dave McCary. Tim Flannry's coming by.
Yeah.
Fungo King still. Tim Flannry's going to be by early in the show as well. So we got lots to get to. Talk about the football game last night. We are now set for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. And a couple of Padres rumors still floating around this offseason. All coming up. We got Adam Klug back in our studios doing a nice job for us this week as we're out live at Padres Fantasy Camp from our Bill House studios, Bill House Plumbing. We know how. It's Ben & Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Here's a check of traffic with Kelly.
Okay, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? This spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Humul Casino Resort, now open.
Welcome back to Padres Fantasy Camp on a Tuesday morning. Ben and Woods. All guests of Ben and Woods appear on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. Since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Tim Flannry and Dave McCary coming up in our second hour, so you'll definitely want to stick around. Be here from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. this morning.
I'm a little nervous because my DMs have gone crazy with people telling me that they're fired up and where can I get more info on Padres Fantasy Camp for next year. And I'm worried, Paulie, that me and you next year we're going to be in a lean-to out in the paddock out there. Just tenting out. Listen, I would literally, if I had to, I would literally just I don't need a locker. I'll just bring my stuff from the Airbnb every day.
100%.
I don't need
I'll
it.
change in a closet.
I'll give my locker up to somebody that gets to experience it for the first time, because it is so incredible out here, and they may not have enough space. Maybe the Mariners,
the major league locker room's completely full. And it's an oversized spring training locker room because they have way more players at spring training than they do at Petco Park.
Yeah.
And now you're in the minor league locker room, but there's also minor leaguers here now, too.
So that locker room in there is split. They have a couple of partitions. So yesterday, I'm in there. I'm the last guy in the locker room getting ready to go out and take pictures. And it's also instructs going on this week. So they got real, actual baseball players like Ethan Salas that are here. They also have guys that have never been with this organization before. This is their first time getting to Peoria. So somebody walks in to the old man locker room, and he's not an old man. He's a young, sharp.
Not here for fantasy
camp.
By the way, it is so easy to tell the difference. Everyone's wearing the same gear, but a fantasy camper walks by or an actual player walks by. There's no doubt in your mind. I wonder if that's a fantasy camper or a minor league.
Right.
No, you know right away which is which.
So this kid walks in, and I'm walking out, and I go, "Oh, hey, buddy, no, you're going to want to be over on this side." And he's like, I don't speak English. And I said, okay. So I kind of put my arm around him, brought him out, showed him, you got to go around this way. And he's like, oh, okay, thank you. Then there were guys standing at the table here when we were gone asking Ben, excuse me, do you know where the cafeteria is?
I'm traffic cop because we're here in the middle.
Yeah.
You're going to go down this hallway and you can take the left there. Oh, the weight room, you're going to go down that hallway and you can take a right. It's like, I feel like I'm the experienced guy here with some of these young guys.
And so I listen, maybe the Mariners can open half of their locker room to let some of the spillover go in there. It's crazy.
How about the kid that was like new to the organization? That showed up with a Pirates gear. I think.
He's like, any idea where I'm going?
I do not know where to go. I'm here I'm a Padre now.
Yeah.
Where do I go?
Yeah, it was.
There was one kid who said, I'm supposed to meet AJ. And he was the same kid. And I go, AJ's here? And I go, I can't believe AJ wouldn't come down and say, different AJ.
Different AJ.
Turned out to say different AJ. Oh, okay, you're not here to meet AJ Preller.
Turns out every other person here is actually named AJ.
Yes, correct.
We have an AJ in the clubhouse. We have like 4 AJs in fantasy camp. We have an AJ in the trainer's room. We have Big AJ, wherever he is.
Big AJ running around somewhere. But no, it's just crazy the amount of people that are out here.
Speaking of Big AJ, obviously no big Padres news while we've been here. I was wondering if anything would break during fantasy camp. It's been still pretty quiet in the off season, the Cold Stove League, as it were. There was more noise coming out of the Athletic yesterday in one of those, Ken Rosenthal news and notes columns about
hang on.
hearing what?
Big noise.
Not big noise, but more of the same noise that we've heard all off season.
I read that this morning. It is literally one sentence at the end of the article.
But it's the same noise about the Padres potentially trading Nick Pivetta so they could then sign a free agent pitcher.
But do you know that he's already a pitcher?
That's what
Does Ken know that?
That continues to be.
It bugs me. It's the narrative. If the narrative was, they're probably going to move Jeremiah Estrada, I'd go, okay, I do what you have to do. The fact that they're like, we're going to trade our 1 for maybe a number 3.
The Padres, again, the story is always framed the same way. The Padres need to add starting pitching. So they could trade Nick Pivetta so they can add a starting pitcher. And I go,
something's
you
amiss.
realize that if they do that, they haven't really added any starting pitching.
They haven't added a starting pitcher. So if you get rid of a starter.
So what
is it 2?
There's no way that all of this is just a completely fabricated, doesn't make sense story. What would make sense? What scenario would make sense in which Nick Pivetta was traded, yet the Padres felt that they were still adding to what they needed? Would you have to get pitching back for Nick Pivetta?
Yes.
And you'd sign a pitcher as well?
Correct.
So you'd get a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah, you would,
at minimum.
You would free up money, right? What is Pivetta supposed to make this year? Is
around 20.
Okay, so around 20. So you'd free up some money. Then you trade him for a pitcher. So you a cheaper pitcher, like a number 4 or 5, right? Because Pivetta's he's probably your opening day starter unless Michael King's healthy. Then he's probably your day 2 starter. Then you go out and you sign, I don't want to say a scrap heap guy, but you go out and sign a scrap heap guy. And
I mean, if you have up to $20 million, you may be able to get someone more along, a Zach Gallen, a Chris Bassett, on a shorter term deal.
Go get them now. Just spend the money, and then you don't have to trade Nick Pivetta.
So here's the question. If you could add a Chris Bassett, a Zach Gallen, and a middle back rotation guy in a trade, does that make you a better team? Or are you just a better team by keeping Nick Pivetta for the 1 year and potentially losing it?
I think you're a better team by keeping Nick Pivetta.
Okay, I think
really do.
That's the real question. And as you balance the scales, are we better with 2 pitchers and more depth, even though neither of them will probably be as good as Nick Pivetta, or are we better just leave Nick Pivetta where he is? He had such a good season last year, knowing if he has another good season this year, he's more than likely going to opt out and become a free agent, and you could lose him, or he's going to get way more expensive in the offseason.
Big cross that bridge when we get to it fan here. Big at this point, just big. I'm a big run it back guy.
I agree. I agree to a certain extent. If you're trying to win just this year, you run it back with Nick Pivetta. If you're trying to win multiple years, though, you can get a guy with 3 years of control who's also a decent pitcher and free up money to sign another pitcher. Maybe you're better off in the long run by making that move.
And again, listen, the long run certainly has not been promised to A.J. Preller yet because he's still on the last year of his contract. The long run has not been promised to the San Diego Padres baseball team because they're for sale. The long run has not been promised to the baseball fan yet because there's an impending lockout. So I'm good leaving it as is. You can still go out and sign a Chris Bassett, and it's not going to kill you. You can still go out and sign a Lucas Giolito. It's not going to kill you. You can still go out and sign guys that are available, and it's not going to kill you financially. And unless you look at Nick Pivetta's $20 million this year and go, it's going to kill us. It's going to break us. We're going to have to trade him for a couple of young pitchers with more control. If that's the case, then I don't know that you could say we're actually competing for a World Series championship this year. It seems to me if you do that, it signals we're going to cut some costs, a little bit. I love a savvy move. I love a savvy move as much as the next guy. That to me, trading a need for a need doesn't make sense. Like you have a starting pitcher, you need starting pitching. Swapping it for a worse option doesn't make any sense just to save some money.
I think if it had been an imperative that they cut some salary, that it would have happened already. They would have made that move. Too. So I don't really have that fear. I think it's really the balancing act of, can we maybe stay as good as we are this year and get better in the future by making a deal?
Right.
What's that equation look like? And, waiting for maybe an even better offer to materialize before you make any sort of deal.
Yeah, Padres on the farm, or Friars on the Farm make a good point. They said, I feel like writers don't have any other rumor but the last one from weeks ago, so they'll just rehash it. It's probably true. God knows we've rehashed enough content on this show many times over the years, so I can actually kind of sympathize with that. But, yeah, it was just kind of a little throwaway line at the end of the piece. And again, I hope it doesn't happen unless it's a deal that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe the Mets gave us back, A, B, and C for 1 year in Nick Pivetta. Okay. Like it's got to blow your hair back, I think, in order to do it.
Meanwhile, ESPN doing kind of a off-season rankings mentioned that the Padres still need to add that. They call it a take and rake bat in their lineup, a guy who can get on base with the walk and can add power to the Padres lineup. Who was out there? He said, well, Cody Bellinger would be a perfect guy.
Yeah, $40 million a year guy.
I mean, the Yankees can't even offer enough to bring him back right now. They've reportedly offered in the $30 to $31 million per year range. Cody Bellinger is reportedly seeking $36 to $37 million a year. The Yankees aren't willing to go that high. And the Yankees are looking at what this offseason market is for Cody Bellinger, and they're going, essentially, Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman, Kyle Schwarber all got the same deal. Alex Bregman's technically worth $175, but with deferrals, they're all about 5 years, $150 in real value. $30 million a year, 5-year value for the best sluggers who have been signed on the market so far. And the Yankees go, that we feel like Cody Bellinger's right in that class of those other three guys. Why should we have to pay way more for Cody Bellinger than Pete Alonso, Kyle Schwarber, or Alex Bregman got? So they're not willing to go up any higher.
Kind of a fair take.
By the Yankees, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a fair take. I
sort of agree with that. I don't see why Cody Bellinger would think he's in some special class that deserves way more. He's 2 years younger, I guess would be the only thing that you would be. But he's been so up and down and, inconsistent in his career that I just don't think he's he can expect to get more than those other guys have gotten on the open market this offseason.
Ray in the chat says trade for Mountcastle. That's Ryan Mountcastle.
From the Orioles?
Yeah, from the Orioles. Now, I was reading about him this morning, and I don't want to get my facts crossed up because it was very early when I got here. But they have signed him. They kept him. They've got him under contract, I think, for 2 more years. Decent salary, 7 maybe, something like that. Very affordable guy. They kept him. They don't have room for him. There's nowhere really to play him. So they may be willing to trade. They could have just let him go and not paid him. So there's a reason that they did it. I'm not sure what that reason was. They declined comment when asked why didn't you just let him go? You wouldn't have had to spend a nickel on him. But for whatever reason, they did bring him back. Maybe they plan on using him in a different capacity. But, yeah, they're certainly – listen, A.J. Preller is certainly aware of anybody at first base that could help this ball club and is probably exploring all of those avenues right now. From what I understand, things I've heard out here, the grind with A.J. Preller has not stopped. And he is kind of like frothing to get some stuff done. He wants this team to be great going into 2026.
All right. Meanwhile, back in San Diego, the very intriguing development for this month's Farmers Insurance Open. One even raised Woods' eyes, plus some breaking news out of that world as well. We'll get to that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Big problem on southbound 15 past Via Rancho Parkway. Multi-vehicle accident. Looks like you got 2 or 3 left lanes blocked. A couple vehicles over the right shoulder. And it's going to take a couple tow trucks to take care of that one. That's South 15 just past Via Rancho Parkway. That is our only problem, though, guys. The rest of our freeways are moving pretty nicely all around the county. New year, new goals. Start with your car at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. A fast oil change and essential maintenance checks help keep you moving into the new year. Check it off your list. Visit SoCalOilChange.com. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Ready when you are. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I think this news is pretty much a gift from heaven for the promoters and organizers of the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines later this month. And that was the news yesterday that Brooks Koepka not only has been granted his return to the PGA Tour, his reinstatement after leaving Live Golf a year early, but that he will make his debut, his re-debut essentially on the PGA Tour at Torrey Pines later this month. But it's coming with a big cost. His penalty for returning and essentially, betraying the PGA Tour and taking the money from Live is going to be a $5 million donation to PGA Tour charities, ineligible for the player fund that they get extra money, which is a lot of extra money for players at the end of the year. No sponsors exemptions for the big money events.
How many years is he ineligible? Just this year?
I don't know how many years. I think it's several years, actually, that he's ineligible to get the money. But Brooks was like, I just want to get back to the PGA Tour. He's got plenty of money and is willing to go through those conditions in what the PGA Tour is saying is kind of a one-time temporary availability for just the guys who have won big events in recent years. And there's only 4. It's Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Cameron Smith, and John Rahm. And those other 3 guys, if they wanted, they could take this same deal that Brooks did.
But they got to do it soon.
Don't know.
3 weeks.
The deal expires in 3 weeks. Don't know that anyone will do so, but Brooks will, and he will be a very big story when the Farmers Insurance Open tees off on January 29th. Everyone's going to go, welcome back, Brooks. How is he received by fans? I think it's going to be pretty well. How is he going to be received by his fellow players? I think some will be happy to have him back, have a big name back. Others will be angry at him leaving and essentially betraying the PGA Tour to go to Live.
Here's what Brooks said. He said, I've got a lot of work to do with some of the players. There's definitely guys who are happy, definitely guys who will be angry. It's a harsh punishment financially, but I understand exactly why the tour did that. It's meant to hurt. But his departure, hurt a lot of people. Ultimately, by accepting membership into the returning member category, Brooks is making the decision to return to the PGA Tour now, something our fans want, something that strengthens both the game and our organization. That is from the commissioner of the PGA. What is his name? Ralph? Is that right? Does that sound right, Benny?
I forget. That doesn't sound quite right, but...
Well, anyway, he's coming back, and he knows, hey, man, I got friends on the tour still. No, it's not Jade Monahan.
Yeah,
there was another guy.
Brian Rolap. He's the
Brian Rolap.
Yeah, he's the new executive guy, like CEO or something of the tour, I think. Yeah.
So Brooksy knows he's going to have to walk into that locker room at the Farmers, and there's going to be guys that are like, we don't, can't sit here. You know what I mean? It's going to be like little Forrest Gump getting on the bus. But then there's going to be guys that are stoked that he's coming back because they want their league to be robust again. They want their league to have good players in it again. They don't want Liv to even exist. They want to now crater Liv like Liv tried to crater them. So this volley between these two golf leagues is fascinating and fantastic that it's shifting back the other way.
I so understand. You can't just accept them back totally open arms. Yeah, no, like nothing ever happened. Like come back.
I think I could. If you come in and you say,
then why wouldn't everybody just? Well, I can go play Live for a few months and make some money, and then come right back.
A lot of them did. A lot of them did.
That's why there has to be some sort of punishment.
Well, there is. There's a major punishment,
and there is. But is it so high that no one else will come back? That's the. If you make it too high,
I think it's good. I think Brooksy coming in and saying immediately, this is a punishment, and it really hurts, but I am willing to wear it. I think that says to John Rahm, well, if he can do it, I can do it. I've made more money than he has. I can do this.
Maybe. I would say of the three other guys, John is the most likely to take the deal.
He has to. He's dying.
He seems like
he's floundering.
Bryson's actually flourished.
He's flourished
with his online persona. Liv has actually been good for him. He gets to captain his team.
Yep.
I don't necessarily see him then. Why would I give up all this money to come back? I'm kind of happy doing this.
Somebody said yesterday, and it was not the craziest thing I ever heard. They said with Brooks Koepka leaving Liv and coming back, Bryson DeChambeau should then walk into the office and go, I want a $500 million contract. Good luck saying no. I mean, he is going to be their poster boy. And yeah, you still may get guys filtering off, but what you want those major winners. You want the guys that are capable of winning a major at any time, just like Brooks Koepka. You want those guys back in the PGA. How much? And I know they played majors, but it wasn't the same. Brooks at the Waste Management, Brooks at the Farmers. That's what we want as golf fans. That's what we want as Pick Dynasty fans. We want our good guys back in there.
And on the heels of that announcement, this morning, breaking news that Xander Schauffele has committed to the Farmers Insurance Open as well.
Huge.
So you've got the two-time major winner, world number 4 ranked player and San Diego native, the San Diego State Aztec, going to play in his hometown tournament. Ludwig Oberg also committing. Remember, he won at Torrey last year, not at the Farmers. That was Harris English, but he won the Genesis, which was played at Torrey Pines because of the fires in Los Angeles, moved it from Riviera. So he's coming back on the course he won, even though it's not the tournament that he won. World number 18 ranked player, Patrick Cantlay, who I still don't see how anyone likes at all, but he's back. You can cheer against him if you want. World number 25 has also committed to the Farmers Insurance Open. So all of a sudden, a pretty intriguing field. It's not, obviously, it doesn't have everyone, doesn't have Rory, doesn't have Scotty, but some good players for the golf fans to enjoy later this month out at Torrey Pines.
So your guess off the air this morning was that Brooks does not make the cut at the Farmers. You don't think he does?
I don't know.
I don't know how his game
he's had
is.
mixed results at Torrey in the past. He actually did finish 4th at the U.S. Open at Torrey, but has not played particularly well in his, I think, appearances at the Farmers Insurance Open. Different time of year, different conditions. I just think with all, and Brooks is one of one. I mean,
he's one of
he
one.
Marches to a different beat than the rest of the PGA Tour.
You know how happy I am to get him back. I love him. I really do.
I wonder, though, anybody is going to feel a little bit of extra weight coming back that week. When you don't know, every time you go up to like guy in your foursome or your threesome,
cold shoulder,
me. I can't imagine that's conducive to the best golf. But it's Brooks. Maybe that fuels him and goes, all right, bleep them. I'm going to go out and just win this thing. So it's possible he'll play some good golf that week. But that's a lot to be thinking about as you go into your first tournament.
I think Manny McNuggets in the chat's trying to work you up here specifically, Ben. Manny says golf is not a sport. It's a game. It needs as much athleticism as you need to play. Are you ready for this? Uno or Monopoly?
Uno.
So I said, Manny, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, it's a hobby.
Yeah, he thinks it's a hobby. And I said, you're out of your mind, man. And then somebody goes, KG goes, well, why aren't you competing for millions then? It is, look, man, I made the switch from baseball to golf during the pandemic. And I can very firmly say it is 1,000% a sport. It is as mentally taxing as anything you could ever do. Grab your bag, go walk 18 holes at the GOAT, and play decent golf, and tell me that it doesn't take any athleticism to do so. I think you'd be out of your mind, Manny. It's one of those things, man, like it's the coordination that you need to have a good golf swing. You think you have a decent golf swing. Go to Golf Tech, have them put it on a camera, and then you see it, and you look like you have two left feet and two swinging the opposite side. Like you look like a moron when you do it.
I will admit, you don't have to be a great athlete to play golf.
You don't have to.
But it certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt you.
You don't see nowadays, maybe back in the Craig Stadlers, their Colin Montgomerys. Nowadays, professional golfers are almost all in really good shape.
We may have a bet here. Manny says, I'll slam an 18-pack and still smoke Ben in a round of golf. Manny, I'll put $10,000 cash on it that you can't drink an 18-pack and beat this man who sits at about a 4 or a 5 at 18 holes. Paulie, agreed?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no question.
I mean, I would love to see it happen. I'd love to get some content out of that.
Ben would obliterate Manny McNuggets inside of 3 holes. He would throw down his clubs and walk off.
Feels like
course.
We're starting to steal. It's the Barstool, the foreplay.
Yeah.
Riggs versus the
Riggs
hater
versus the hater match
for big money.
Hey, it's a great idea.
It is pretty intriguing.
It's a great idea. I got $10,000 that says you can't do it. I don't have $10,000.
You have no idea.
That's how confident I am.
You have no idea how good of a golfer Manny McNuggets is.
He's in our YouTube chat at 6:53. Instead of hitting balls on the range, I'm riding with my horse.
So guess
I'll caddy for you. We'll crush it.
We just saw Tim Flannry walking into the building. He is going to come back and join us. Always look forward to our conversations with Flan.
We're thinking about it. I was like, we had Flan on. I'm like, no, he really just came on and gave you a gift and was on for like 30 seconds. Let's sit down with Flan.
I'm gonna tell you
that
right
was
now.
More to say hi to Major.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now. My hottest take of the day. Tim Flannry belongs in a major league clubhouse.
Oh, without a doubt.
He belongs working with the team in a major league clubhouse today. My hottest take, if you wanted to.
We'll come back. Hour number 2, Padres Fantasy Camp 2026. Ben and Woods with you on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. That was cool. Just in those 5 minutes we were gone, you guys got a pitching lesson from Jake Peavy.
Yeah, just a little quick one on how to throw a cutter. Just showing me a couple things with the cut fastball, and who better to listen to than a guy that won a Cy Young, a couple World Series championships in Jake Peavy. But a funny moment happened. I got a text from Mrs. Woods, my wife Hannah, at home, and it was a screenshot of the lower third of the Ben and Woods YouTube feed. And she said, for what it's worth, the lower third says 2025 fantasy camp. It's 2026. Bo wanted me to tell you. So I said, Paulie, you got to fix this. You just got air checked by an almost 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Paulie said, oh.
I mean, it is. I'm like zooming. It is so small.
It's so
just
small.
Yeah, but you guys
there.
watch it on the big TV.
Yeah, they watch it on the big
home,
TV
so
at
it's a
home.
little easier to see the graphics.
And I'm like, that's what the logo. That's the one they gave me. That's the one I used. I couldn't. It was so small. I couldn't even see it. I understand. Yeah, if I zoom in, there it was, 2025.
2025.
It's been edited. You can tell that son of yours.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all good.
Like
father, like son.
Like father, like son.
Unbelievable.
Listen, the attention to detail is very important in our home.
I don't mind reusing old graphics.
No,
it's very
you do
cost efficient. You don't have to spend on the new 2026 graphic.
That's right.
Which is nice.
It's become increasingly evident over the last. I mean, really, while we've been out here, but the last few weeks, I've just kind of noticed my lot in life is I'm just here to serve. I'm here to help.
Serve it.
It happened yesterday again. We sat down for the panel that Ben was hosting. Mentioned it earlier. It was you, Dave McCary, Major Garrett. And you had 2 mics, one for you, and then they were going to pass one back and forth when they were talking. And as soon as you introduced Dave and we're going to give him the floor to talk, his mic did not work. And I just hear, Paulie,
fix it, Paul.
So you had Paulie and you had our buddy Ben Varela out here, and he is a sound man. He's Jason Mraz's guitar tech. He goes by Chuck Knobloch out here because he can't throw. He's been getting worn out, but he's a sound guy too. So he and Paulie rushed to the amp, and they're blowing stuff out. I mean, they look like they were at Madison Square Garden.
We tried it. It still wasn't working. I go, hang on. I have a personal mic and
got
a new
mics.
cable. I ran out here, came to my bag, grabbed it, plugged it in, boom. And I put my arms up in the air, and the place went nuts.
Got us all fixed up, but that is Paulie's lot in life. I could have used you last night, but I didn't want to bother you because I woke up this morning and went downstairs, and Ben said, oh, did you catch the game last night? And I said, no. And he said, oh, you didn't watch it? We got home. I had time to watch it. And I said, I would have loved to, but I was unable. And he said, why couldn't you get the game? And I said, that's a fantastic question. I'm glad you asked. The game was on ESPN, ABC, right? So as you guys know, I have Cox Cable. I have really enjoyed the Cox experience the last few months. They got my bill down to a manageable number.
You've been saying for years how much you love Cox.
Well, I hated Cox for a while, and now I got all the way back in on Cox. But now, I don't know. I'm on the road. I am a sports radio host. There's no cable at our Airbnb. There rarely is. And so I log onto the iPad, and I go to the Contour app. And that's when I can watch what I have on my television at home because I pay this exorbitant fee for cable. But, hey, don't worry. You take us with you anywhere you go. So I go to watch the game. No, must be logged onto your home's Wi-Fi. Well, I'm not at home. I'm on the road.
That's on the Contour app.
I'm traveling. So then I go to ESPN.
Did you log in with your Cox credentials?
Logged in, ESPN, hit watch. It said your credentials are not valid here or whatever. So
yeah, you got to log in through the ESPN app with your Cox cable credentials. That's how I had it. I was watching on my iPad, and Ben was watching downstairs on his laptop.
Now you have Spectrum.
I have Spectrum. Yep, I can watch
Dodger
ESPN through the app.
Does it make you feel good to know that you just contribute to the Dodgers' bottom line every year with your Spectrum cable?
San Diego Spectrum, totally different than Los Angeles Spectrum.
What's the name of their company?
I don't know.
It's Spectrum.
I think
it
they're
all
totally
goes to the
different.
same pot.
I don't really get a choice. I don't think.
Does Mookie Betts invite you to his invitational every year
cable
because you
television
help
is one
pay
of
his
the weirdest
salary?
things because where you live, you only get the one choice. Like, oh, you're in a Cox zone or you're in a Spectrum zone.
It's true.
You don't get a choice of what cable you sign up for.
A bit of a monopoly.
You could have done DirecTV, which Arden did, and put the DirecTV on the TV downstairs. I watched the game with Major and Arden the second half, which, by the way, not a terrific game. It was a close game in the first half because both teams, the Texans and the Steelers, looked awful offensively. And then in the second half, it just got out of hand with the Steelers making mistakes, 2 defensive touchdowns by the Texans, and they rolled to a 30-6 victory. Who knows? Maybe the last game Aaron Rodgers ever plays.
Pick 6.
Certainly the speculation, last throw could have been a pick 6. As Houston gets that last spot in the divisional round, they will play the New England Patriots
what a game.
on Sunday in the next round of the playoffs. But right now, joining us from Padres Fantasy Camp, an official interview. He sat down for a brief moment to meet Major Garrett on our first day, but Tim Flannry is back, 3-time World Series champion. Flan, it's always good to see you.
Good morning, boys. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm really good.
Good. You look good.
I feel great.
You were moving very well yesterday out at Instructs, and it got me thinking again, Flan. I said it this morning. It's probably it should not be a hot take, but my take is you belong on a major league team in a major league clubhouse for 162. You really do. I mean, I watch you.
It.
I watch how you handle all these morons out here, myself included. And I know how you speak about the game. I hear how you speak about the game. You're all heart. You're all soul. Is that something you would be interested in taking that phone call?
And I'm going to tell you what has happened here. Last year here at the Fantasy League, one of the players, I just explained to him, they were running into outs on the bases.
Oh, I can relate. Yeah.
We were down 4 runs in the last inning, and we had 2 outs left, and guys were just running into outs. So I got them together and said, hey, if you guys were going to go to the Himalayas or go find the greatest god of the game, to go find the great spirit, the most genius baseball mind in the world, you'd have to get on an airplane and fly to the Himalayas. And then you'd have to rent a burro and a guide and go up into that, beyond the clouds, up into the sacred place where the greatest god of the game lives. And you know what you would find? A scoreboard.
Yeah.
A scoreboard will teach you how to run. It'll teach you where to throw. It'll teach you how to pitch. The next day, we're getting a team photo, and I go, where's so-and-so, the guy I kind of directed everything at? They said, you haven't heard Flan? I go, no. He goes, he packed his stuff up and left and said, you ruined his fantasy. So my point here, AJ Preller got word of this story, and it was from all the guys that were there.
Sure.
They're still laughing. I've never talked to AJ Preller in my life. And I get these text messages during a playoff game that I'm watching, and I'm going, somebody's screwing.
Somebody's messing with me.
I'm not even going to answer. So I go out and I get the message, and he's laughing on the message. Says, call me. I want to talk to you. So I call him, and he goes, we might need something like this. Yeah! And I immediately said, AJ, I don't want, this was before the managers. I don't want to manage. I don't want to coach. But what I can do, I can come once a homestand at 2:00 and hit grounders and fungos because I loved it for an hour with my grandkid, and then I'm going home.
What'd he say?
I don't know. We still are going
All
back
right.
and forth.
Well, you've got a dialogue. The dialogue is now open.
I'm telling you, there's nothing, it has to happen. I mean, first of all, you're an elite fungo hitter. I mean, you're absolutely elite fungo hitter. And I think just being able to be around guys again at that level is where you belong. And I know you have so many other interests. You're such a Renaissance man. And I think if you would do that, I think your presence being around the San Diego Padres in 2026, I'll tell you what, it's not going to lose us any games. That I promise you. It's not going to lose us any games.
Well, I'm going to leave before the game.
Which is fine. But any advice or wisdom that you could pass on to the Jake Cronenworths of the world, the Manny Machados of the world, the Xander Bogarts of the world.
I get it, but I also respect all the coaches who are infield coaches and respect the people they hire.
Sure.
Because, number one, they go through the grind. They go through the 162 games in 180 days. You're going through spring training. I would never, it's like somebody coming up to me. I would never be around anybody enough to know their tendencies. And as coaches, we coach tendencies. And as a third base coach, I was pretty damn good at the end of it. I tell the people in San Francisco, you guys saw me the last 8 years, but I did it for like 20 years. And you have to go through all these things. But You could be the best third base coach and go to another team, but if you don't know the tendencies of the players, because that's what we do as coaches, we coach tendencies. You know the guys that run and don't look for the ball. You know the guys that get good secondary leads and their personalities. So it's very difficult to do that, but I got an hour for them once every homestand if they need me.
I love it.
It's one of the great, I think, ironies of sports. And A.J. Preller was given a long enough amount of time. He's gotten better at his job over the last 10 years. You know, he learns from his mistakes. He learns more about his players, coaches, clubhouse, where he makes better hires and signings. We've seen managers, the same thing. But so often now, Flan, you get maybe 2 years, and if you haven't turned your team around or gotten them to the World Series, they clean out the coaching staff and they bring in a whole new one. They don't get the time to learn all the tendencies and everything they need to know to actually be successful at their job.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a difficult thing for really the general managers and the coaches, because there's a demand. When there's a demand, and that's what you need as a fan base, to demand winning. I know when I went up north, if we didn't win, I mean, I called the crew up there, the fans, they were the mob. And if you didn't win, they're going to run you out of town. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but that was the reality. And you felt it every night.
PB talked about it too. He did. He talked about it too. Maybe we need to get more of the mob mentality in San Diego. Maybe it starts right here on Bed and Woods. I don't know. I mean, you want to be. It's such a fine line, right? Because you played the game, you managed the game, you've done everything in the game you could do. I'm also being out here and even playing 6 games. The wear and tear, the mental exhaustion of these dumb games. I think about it and I'm like, why am I going to get so upset and have this mob mentality in April when I know there's 135 games to go?
Yeah.
Players can't live that way. Players can't live 162 thinking that they're going to get chewed out every single night. Can they? Do you think that makes them better?
No, it will not. You got to let them, give them a long leash and let them just figure out who they are as a team. And so their whole the image of your club and the core of your club, who's going to be the leader, who's going to come together. It is a process that kind of like baking a cake. It does its own self as it goes on, you know. So it's very difficult to come in right off the top and be like that. I know Dick Williams back in the old days did it, but that was a different generation. And another thing about coaching third that I would never even touch anymore is because of the gambling, because of the death threats, because I just gave you the lecture about the scoreboard, about the great guru, the great god of the game, the most knowledgeable man is person or whatever, entity, is the scoreboard. But if I play by the scoreboard and play the game correctly in the 9th inning when we're down by 4 runs, I might hold a guy who I'm not sure is going to score because his run doesn't mean anything, but it does mean something if a guy's gambling.
To some gambler.
And I once had a guy screaming at me in the 9th inning up there in San Francisco when I held a guy in that same situation. We were down by 4 runs. He might have scored, but that didn't matter. I wasn't playing for him. There was 2 guys on the bench I was playing for.
Right.
We had to get them up to hit. We had to get them up on the bases. And at that moment, I realized, you looked at him, I go, you're gambling. And what it's done to the game and what it's done to people who are getting death threats, it's absolutely insane. And this commissioner needs to do something about it because it's taking away the integrity of the game.
No question about it.
Talking to Tim Flannry here from Padres Fantasy Camp. Tim, some of the entertainment last night had the famous batting stance guy come in and do some of your former teammates, some of your coaches, and he did you as well. I wanted to get your impression because I thought he pretty nailed it.
He's great. He last time he did an impression on me, I saw it on television when he did the '84 Padres. And he had a cool blonde wig.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got here, I looked at him. I introduced myself. I go, "Where's your wig?"
Well, you had some good lettuce back in the day, didn't you?
It was thin. It was thin. I always said I have fine hair, the kind you find on the floor.
Fine on the floor. And your grandson Jesse is the same. It's the exact same. You see that blonde tough Flannry coming up, on the back of his jersey. It's the sweetest thing. So I want to go back to you talk. Every time you talk, you're such a soulful. This is such more than a game or a living to you. it's in you. It's in your heart. It's in your soul. The way you speak about the game with such reverence. And you know what I love about you, too? You're as old school as it gets. But, man, do you appreciate these new guys and how strong and talented and how hard they throw. And you have a lot of respect for the modern game as well.
I do, but I understand throwing as hard as you can for 4 innings, 5 innings. But the art of pitching, and Randy Jones would be the first one to tell you this, the movement and the placement and the pitching. And so the guy's going, I mean, Jimmy Lincecum, when he threw a no-hitter against the Padres, Boch let him go 147 pitches, and that was no big deal. You know, he was built for it because he trained all through the minor leagues. These guys were getting 180 innings, 190 innings, and they were actually getting prepared for it. But all of that's gone now, and I get it because everybody's getting paid so much. That's why you can't break up double plays. You can't run people over. I'm in there talking to Timpy, and Timpy's telling stories about a couple of our fights that we had, and some of those players just their mouths drop open, you know?
Yeah. He told me I think it was Bill Madlock used to get to first base,
put a hip
pad in. You know, the first base coach would hand him a hip pad, and he would stick it down his thing because he knew he was going into Tempe.
Yeah.
Hip
He's
first.
coming after
and he's
us.
going to come after these guys and try to literally kill them. And I think the cool part was back then is Flan knew he was getting taken out. That guy knew it was his job to take him out. He took him out. Flan hit the dirt, got up, and was like, "Oh boy, good hard slot." You know, it was just part of the game.
John Denny, we were talking about that story. I faced John Denny, and Andy Hawkins hit Juan Samuel in the first inning on an 0-2 pitch. Well, I come up, and I get hit right in the head by John Denny, breaks my helmet. I run to first screaming. I go, anyway, it's like God set up the last the 9th inning. We're down by 2 runs, and John Denny's Cy Young Award winner
still in
out
there.
He throws me a little sinker down and away. I bang it to left field. The tying run scores. It gets by into the corner. The winning run, the go-ahead run. I come flying head first into third base, pound the bag. And John Denny's there. I go, "That's for you, blankety blank." And he goes, "What?" I go, "That's for you." He picked me up and beat the crap out of me. Picked me up because he was doing that martial arts. And everybody's at home plate high-fiving. And
You're getting your ass kicked.
And the bullpen came running out. And the way Boch runs with his leg going out like that, he tripped all of the bullpen guys. I had no help. I was behind enemy lines. I had no help. And when those guys got there, they had dirt all over them and everything. Nobody got thrown out.
Nobody got
thrown out.
Denny didn't even get thrown.
No.
Nobody got thrown out of the game.
You know, Flan, I think a lot of people think, and they point out, that generation was different than this generation. But I found that players aren't that much different. It's really the front offices. They would have been sad if someone took you out at second and you were out for a month with a broken ankle or something. But you weren't getting paid $30 million a year.
Yep.
And they do not want to lose those, investments that they make.
We were collateral damage.
Yeah, exactly. You were just collateral. You were that was part of the entertainment back then. Oh, fans love this. We'll just put another guy in there and he can get damaged tomorrow. Now, when they're paying these guys, like, we can't afford to let these guys get hurt.
It's
we're paying
true,
them
and
too
I
much.
understand that
so
now.
it's like,
the bigger bases.
don't touch those guys out there. They are too valuable.
I mean, people in the chat, Nicole says, I could literally listen to Flan talk all damn day. As could I.
You better go ask the coaches in that room. That's why they just kicked me out to come here.
I wanted to mention, we did not mention this on the show, but you lost a dear friend and a musical icon in Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead. Bob Weir joined the Grateful Dead when he was 16 years old and just played his last concert 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago in Golden Gate Park. And not only a friend, but a guy that you got to jam with and make music with. And we got a few minutes left. I wanted you to talk on Bobby Weir for a second, if you could.
He's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul. And I was not a deadhead. I did nothing. I had no idea about. I mean, I knew they were the Grateful Dead, but I didn't follow them. I wasn't really into the music at that time. And when that fan got beat up, Brian Stowe up there. When I went up there, I wasn't going to let anybody know about my music. I was just going to – I had a 2-year contract, Boch and I did, no guarantees. I go, I'm not going to let anybody know about anything about me. I'm just going to coach. It didn't happen. And when Brian Stowe got hurt, they called me and said, we'd like you to start because we know you can do it, do a couple benefits for them to raise some money. So I brought my varsity lunatic fringe band up there, who are as good as they get. And we were playing a show, and now I get this message from Bobby Weir that he wants me to come out to a studio. And I looked at a guy who was a deadhead on the bus. I go, do you know Bobby Weir? He went nuts. I said, all right, well, I'm going to go see him on a day off. So I went up and spent the day at his studio, and he goes, I don't know what we're going to do. Let me slumber on it. So anyway, he called me and said, I want to help you with these shows. So him and I started playing shows. I had to learn a bunch of dead songs because I didn't know any of them. And it was just wonderful. And our relationship just kept growing. He brought me to places. Him and Jackie Green, a solo acoustic, and I posted it on my band page.
I saw this.
I fly in from Maui, and they have sold out the Balboa Theater in San Diego. And I go, Bobby, you're in my hometown. I'd love to see the show. Can you leave me a ticket? He goes, oh yeah, Tim. Yeah. Hey, bring your guitar and amp and be there at 4 for sound check. I played 6 songs in this concert. I'm on stage going, all I wanted was
I just want to watch.
I wanted a ticket. And our relationship went on and on and on. And that's when him and Phil Lesh asked me to sing the national anthem because Jerry Garcia had passed. And so they sent me, and I never wanted to sing the anthem at the time because it was a very difficult vocal range. But they sent me, and this is one of the greatest lessons that Bobby told me, and I never knew about it until recently. It took a while for me to understand it. But I wanted to go over it one more time, the national anthem, because I was supposed to sing this high harmony that Jerry Garcia used to sing. And I'm coaching in the World Series in like 5 minutes after the anthem, you know? So right before I go, hey, Bobby, we already practiced it 2 or 3 times. I go, can we go over it one more time? He goes, come on, Tim, don't take the sport out of it. Oh. And I had no idea really what that meant until now because I'm addicted to playing that show, solo, duo, with the whole band. How are we going to do it? How are we going to pull it off? Being in the moment, not always having it so perfect where you have to listen to every note and make it. You have to be in the moment and be a part of the song. And that's one of the lessons.
That's profound.
And when I had staph infection and I was dying in the hospital 5 years ago, I was in there for 2 months. COVID, nobody could come in. I didn't know where I was. I was tied down at nighttime. Bobby would text me or call me. Like once a week, you know, I'm going, how did this happen? You know?
Yeah, it's a dream. It's a dream. And what a lesson that is right there. Don't take the sport. Next time you ask me to plan something, I'm going to say,
who was the artist who said music is hard? Like he wants it to be as hard as possible?
Jack White.
Yeah.
He said it shouldn't be easy. He said, I want it to be hard when I'm up there. And I love that. What an amazing human being you are, Flan. We love you so much. And
Thank you, everybody.
For always.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being you, Tim.
We
really appreciate
your wisdom is always, I carry it with me everywhere I go. And you're just one in a billion, my friend.
Don't you lose that coaching book I got.
I will. Believe you me. I'm going to guard it with my life. I'm going to guard it with my life.
I saw it. I saw it on the floor at the Airbnb. I don't know what
it's in my room. It's in my room.
Ben, I came out of Channel 8 and started managing in the minor leagues. I took a typewriter with me because I had to learn how to type doing the news back then. There was no computers, ASDF, JKL, semicolon. And every night after coaching the instructional league for the Padres, I would come back and start writing notes and start writing. And I did that my whole 5 years of managing in the minor leagues. And I made this cool book on my rules as a manager, but also all the other. And Mike Schilt, once he said last year, I was trained by St. Louis and George Kissel and all of that. That's the information that's in that book that was given to me from some of the St. Louis Cardinals.
It's a gem. It's a gem. We're going to have a really good minor B team. They have no idea how good they're going to be yet. If it kills me.
Tim, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're
the best as always.
You guys really carry the torch. And, hey, look, I'm a guy that every time I walk in, I say, why is everybody up in the middle of the night? I'm a musician.
Yeah.
So I don't even care if you do the show. Anybody that gets up at 4 o'clock and shows up anywhere, I'm all for it.
We love you, man. Thanks, Flannry.
Tim Flannry. We're going to push Don't Do This back to our 9 o'clock hour because we're running behind because Dave McCary is going to join us in just a couple of minutes. So do not go away. More Ben and Woods live from Padres Fantasy Camp from our Bill House Studios. Bill House Plumbing, we know how, on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
All right, things just got kind of emotional here on Ben and Woods.
You got me, man.
Our thanks again to Tim Flannry. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Usually we'll don't do this here a few minutes ago, but understandably we went a little long with Flan. He is such an amazing storyteller. He is so captivating. As you said, Renaissance man. Just it's more than just baseball that he can impart wisdom about.
My phone is blowing up with friends of mine that are like, hey, any chance we can get together and I just want to talk baseball with Flan for 30 minutes? I said, yeah, I mean, we can absolutely make that happen because number one, he's willing to do it. And number two, that's what he loves to do. He loves to tell the game and teach the game. Out there yesterday with a bunch of overweight, old people like me out there showing us the proper way to feed and everything else, turning the ground ball. Like, he doesn't have to do that, man. He spent an hour and then hitting fungos and he was
born to do it.
Born
to do that.
In his blood.
It's amazing. Speaking of amazing, I finally got a chance to really talk to Dave McCary yesterday. We chatted for a while, and he's a guy who really cares about his craft as well, in the entertainment business, production company now, Saturday Night Live. He has graciously agreed to join us. So we're going to take another timeout. I know we just had a long one.
Sorry about that,
Apologize
guys.
For that, but we're going to get back on clock here because I do want to sit down with one of our rookie fantasy campers, talk about his experience and talk about his craft as well.
Hang with us.
We're going to do that when we come back. Another quick timeout. Again, my apologies. I'll be back with more Ben and Woods live from Padres Fantasy Camp here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
What an hour this has been so far. Tim Flannry was amazing, and now we've got Dave McCary standing by. Actually, I don't envy you, Dave, coming after Flan. That's a tough spot in the lineup to hit.
All
but
from grace for this show.
We will looking forward to the
to
conversation after last night's roundtable. Had a lot of fun getting to know you a little bit more. We will chat with Dave McCary, Fantasy Camp rookie, right after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Looks like some relief for you now on southbound 15 past Via Rancho Parkway. Access has been cleared out of those left lanes, but reports of another crash on the Felicita off-ramp southbound 15. So that's been a very tough ride this morning. Also, northbound 15 before Balboa, we have reports of a tire in that left lane. Northbound 163 right before Robinson, got a collision involving a couple cars. That's over to the right shoulder. New year, new goals. Start with your car at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. A fast oil change and essential maintenance checks help keep you moving into the new year. Check it off your list. Visit SoCalOilChange.com. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, ready when you are. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I've kind of always wanted to do this, so just give me a moment.
Oh, no.
Live from Peoria, Arizona, it's Tuesday morning.
Dave, I'm so sorry. This is my whole life.
I have an inner Don Pardo that I've always wanted to. I never wanted to be the comedians. I always wanted to be Don Pardo doing the announcing at the start of Saturday Night Live. It's Dana Carvey.
Oh my God, he's still
Phil
going.
Hartman.
He's still going.
G.E. Smith and the Saturday Night Live band. That was my dream, to be an announcer. So that's. We've got Dave McCary who's with us right now.
Am I Pete Red? Am I Pete Red? My ears are on fire right now. This is my whole life. This is what I have to deal with. Oh, hi, Dave.
It's funny being so a part of the comedy world my entire life, and I said this last night in the clubhouse. I'm not a funny man, and my whole life has been supporting, the genius of others and helping behind the scenes and facilitating as much as I can. But the amount of people or new people that kind of expect this guy's gonna throw some zingers.
He's gonna kill me.
He must be Chris Farley.
Right. It's no, I like to talk. I like philosophy. I like existentialism. But I'm not gonna land a joke. That's for sure.
One thing I know you like, and I've gotten to know you a little bit over the week, and I'm very impressed with and admire your love of the game. You love baseball. Man, do you love baseball. And I love this, what you said last night, too. You said, I was an art kid. I was an art kid. And art kids sometimes get pushed into this corner, this bucket. But not you. You were baseball and art. And I love that because you look at a guy like Tim Flannry who just left baseball, art, music, all of it. Yeah. I'm that way as well. And I think, the kind of bucking the convention of that. When did you first fall in love with the game? And how many games? I mean, you're on the East Coast now. We always admire the people that are on the East Coast and still follow the pods. Like you're up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes watching these guys.
Yeah. And when we're overseas, if like a couple summers ago we were in London on a project and these games starting at 4 a.m. I think I was telling you this, Ben. I'd have to watch the condensed games in the morning. I'd wake up at 7 a.m. and know that it might be in the 9th inning or whatever, but I don't want to miss what happened before. So I would unfortunately on the MLB app, it's hard to get to the condensed game without seeing the score.
Right.
But I know how to navigate the app. So I would consciously try to,
blur
my eyes to not catch the score and then just navigate to condensed game. And then when I felt like I was safe, then I could, watch hopefully every at bat to get us. And then maybe it goes live and I'm like in the ninth inning at 7 a.m. But yeah, I especially the high stakes games, it's like I can't miss them on that East Coast. Those 10:30 starts are brutal. But no, to your question, and I grew up in a big sports family, baseball family, and I got to credit my mom and dad for just we're in San Diego, and my dad's a massive sports fan, and just introduced the game to me and took me to Padres games, Charger games, and
but at no time during your artistic endeavors, which happens, right? You're like, I'm a guitar player now, or I'm an artist now, I'm a writer now. I don't worry about trivial things like athletics and sports. But you also played a lot too, because it's evident when you watch you on the field, you know how to play the game and carry yourself too.
Yeah, I did the Scripps Ranch Little League circuit and then worked my way up. I played some high school baseball in Wisconsin and pitched a bit and threw out my arm. As you saw yesterday, I can no longer throw overhand, so I am a full submarine pitcher. I've kind of tried to learn the mechanics to be able, and it doesn't hurt my arm at all throwing at that angle. But I would do anything to be able to do this every year. It was a dream at one point before I realized that film and television was actually the thing I had a shot at, because there was no way I was even close to good enough to try to pursue this game. But yeah, I could talk about this experience and the highs and lows. I really started trying. I heard you this morning, Paulie, telling the listeners about, I came out hot and I pitched 3 no-hit innings, 7 strikeouts in front of Hoffman, and I felt like I was walking on a cloud.
King of the world.
And then, of course, that night, PV opens a tab at the bar, you
it's always Jake's fault. It's always Jake's
It's
fault.
always Jake's fault.
Always.
And you can't stop ordering Palomas, and then all of a sudden, Greg Vaughn is telling you go chug a beer out of that prosthetic leg from one of the campers.
You did it.
And then I show up the next morning, of course, incredibly hungover, and we have the most consequential game of the camp for our team, and it's versus you guys.
Yep.
And I'm feeling a little less myself.
Sure.
Get on the mound, and just the wheels fall all the way off.
Man, you're throwing hard though. I mean, that's the thing is I think I was coming up on deck when they pulled you, and I can't say that I wasn't happy to see you get pulled, even though you were wild. I was like, good, because I'd already been embarrassed with McGarrity's slider, and I go, I can't hit this submarine. I can't hit that. I've never been able to ever. And I go, he's going to carve me up with the bases loaded. And luckily, they didn't put their trust in you. They went to the reliever. And I still got out, but
bailed me out.
But just watching you out there, how you carried yourself too, and how competitive you are. I go, I like this. I like this a lot.
Talking to Dave McCary here on Ben and Woods, and since most of your career has been more behind the scenes for people who aren't kind of so familiar, why don't you just let everyone kind of know your path from Scripps Ranch to Saturday Night Live to what you're doing now, and just kind of how it all worked out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always give as much credit possible to my childhood best friend, Kyle Mooney, who I met in elementary school, Scripps Ranch, and just recognizing how brilliant he was, being so inspired by him. He introduced me also to just great art and music and comedians, and we stuck by each other's side, and as the internet videos kind of became a thing in our culture, it was just the perfect storm of, we want to be creative and making videos, and then YouTube comes out and start putting up some videos just showcasing his and a few of our other comedian buddies' brilliance, and I was just so hungry to pick up a camera and just learn how to make a video and learn how to edit, and just kind of a self-taught, I wanted to learn every aspect of production, and had the joy of just really smart, funny dudes on the other side of the camera helping the success of what our ideas were, and then we hit some viral videos, and just kind of, it took some time. We had about eight years in LA slumming it until we were kind of discovered by SNL, and then we got the call, and it was all because of the success of those internet videos. So the advice I always give to young kids is just, even if your videos are not good, just making it, just doing going through the process, making a video that is unsuccessful, and then learning from the problems of that last video, and then the next video you're gonna make the adjustments. And it's just like, having a terrible season at the plate, and it's like, you've got to make the adjustments and come back next year and do something different.
So you guys have done, you've lived in LA, you went to New York for SNL, you still live in New York. Why not back in LA, closer to the Padres, closer to, I know they do a lot of arts and movies and music in New York too, but why New York instead of LA? Well,
I mean, I think the COVID era kind of exposed that no one really has to be anywhere to do what we do in the arts. Like, we don't have to be anywhere. It's like you can do Zoom meetings, you can cast through auditions that are virtual, and we just, my wife and I met in New York. It's a very romantic city to me. It's one of the best cities in the world.
Oh, yeah.
My two favorite cities in the world are San Diego and New York, and it's been amazing to, that's pretty much where I spend most of my time. And there's, nonstop flights back and forth. I could just bop back and forth between New York and San Diego for the rest of my life and be very happy. But yeah, I mean, New York, you just get everything. It's such a melting pot, the culture, the food, the live theater. I've got a 4-year-old. We get to expose her to just the best of the best in terms of the art world.
Sure.
And Yeah, it's
electric. It's
the
just
best.
a great
It's the
city.
best.
Dave, you're obviously lifelong Padres fan. You mentioned your wife. I think most Padres fans know Emma Stone. When did she become as big of a Padres fan as you are? Because it certainly seems like you two are in this brown and gold thing together.
Well, I mean, one of the many things I love about her is she just loves when anyone, whether it's her partner or a colleague or friend, has a deep passion for something, whether it's the most niche thing. And she also has like a deep appreciation for the life of an athlete and sports, and grew up with a brother who's and father who were both great athletes. They're football players. And I think she just saw my passion for the team, and then I started to give her a bit of an education on the history of the Padres and took her to some games, and that was.
How about your
that was
daughter?
it.
Is your daughter into it too?
She's more. She just knows how much Daddy loves the Padres, so she associates that word with me.
Yeah.
I don't think she fully grasps just how sick I am.
I was going to ask you too.
Yeah.
How sick are you? I mean, how
Does it affect your mood?
How
like
affected-
when they lose?
Yeah, how affected do you get? How fiery do you get? Are you, because I'm the older I get, I just turned 50.
Yeah.
And I'm by no means old and wise, but I've gathered a lot more wisdom about the game in the last couple of years than I did maybe when we started. It would almost kill me at times because I was so anxious about it, and I've gotten a little bit more wisdom about it. How about you at 40?
I mean, it can set me into a deep depression for sure.
Yeah. That 24 scoreless almost
Oh.
put me in the ground.
When the bats go to sleep, I'm not walking around the next day with a pep in my step.
Fair
for
enough.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, as a San Diego sports fan, you kind of torture becomes a part of your life, and you learn a lot about yourself and how to manage those lows, and it all seems silly to care so much about a game, but the team means so much to our community, and I'm just an addict.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to this team and wanting to get over that hump, and I can't stop watching, whether it's a great disappointment or all the success we've had in the last 5 years. Like I'm obsessed with the journey and getting to know this organization and a lot of the players and AJ and the Grupner and just everyone behind the scenes, and just how much this organization cares about coming through for us, the tortured fan, and they're trying so fucking hard to help. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. We got a dump button. We got a dump.
But no, I've grown so much of an appreciation to how the amount of camaraderie between all of us sickos, including the front office sickos, that care just as deeply as we do.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
Before you go, I don't know how much you can share. You talked a little bit about last night, but you guys have a production company. Anything you want to share with the listeners, what you're working on, anything like that?
So we're just about finished with Jesse Eisenberg, a longtime collaborator of ours. He's just wrote and directed his third film that's almost done in the edit right now, and we're very, very excited about that. It's Paul Giamatti and Julianne Moore, and
come on.
It's just a brilliant film, and Jesse is one of my favorite people in the world.
I love Jesse. You love Paul, so we're
love
both going to love this movie.
Oh my God, I love Paul Giamatti,
whose father was the
Bart,
commissioner. So that's the one that's closest to coming out, and we don't have a date on that yet, but it's probably the thing that comes to mind. And then I'm as a director that I produced that film alongside my colleagues at Fruit Tree, which is my production company, and then I'm trying to make a movie in the world of baseball and share that passion, and
we need it.
And it's been a while since
time.
there's been a great baseball movie. So we'll see. We're really trying, but that's further away. And,
Yeah.
you know, these making a movie sometimes takes 2 to 10 years. So we'll see.
You were saying and then one executive changes his mind and it all goes away.
All goes
So
to
you never
pop.
know
Yeah.
in that business.
Yeah.
Well, you're the man, dude. We've had such a pleasure getting to know you and talk to you, and welcome to welcome each other to the Sickos Club. It's good to have you as a part of the Sickos Club, man, because I know you feel it deeply, and you can see it in the way you play, you see it in the way you carry yourself, and see it in the way you attack your daily life and your art as well. I'm just a huge fan, so thank you so much.
You guys are the best. It was a real highlight talking life with you guys yesterday.
Awesome. Dave McCary, what a fun hour that was. And we still got a couple to go. Coming up in hour number 3, we're going to try to reel in some more guests. Put a little take on Woods as well. Don't go away. Ben and Woods continuing live from Padres Fantasy Camp in Peoria, Arizona on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, gang, we are halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben & Woods, 97.3, The Fan. That was such a fun hour of radio, getting a chance to talk to Tim Flannry, who is just the heart and soul of the game of baseball. And then getting, of course, to talk to Dave McCary, who's so honest about his love of the Padres. And I just am obsessed with both of those guys, man. That was such a treat for us and hopefully the tier ones as well.
It was very fun. That hour going to be tough to top that.
Yeah.
But I know you guys are actually only here for another hour because you got a little earlier game today. We'll get into Don't Do This and maybe bring back some of that Flan interview in our 9 o'clock hour. You know what I was just doing, though? And this was kind of flattering yesterday. We got an email. Paulie got an email from our old friends that used to work in our building.
Yeah.
Rob and Josh.
Yes.
Does anybody remember?
Those guys love Rob and Josh, apparently. The Padres minor leaguers, big Rob and Josh fans. Man, that timing was fantastic. Rob and Josh.
You guys know Rob and Josh? Yeah.
But if you've been listening for a long time, you'll remember that when Woods was out, before we had to take on John Flint as the fill-in, Josh would come in and play our game occasionally. Well, Rob and Josh are working here in Arizona. And
she was the best.
Yeah.
She almost knew every single answer.
Almost.
Every single time. She's like,
Oh, yeah. Love Josh. I love both of them. They were such great people.
No one's had more on the tip of her tongue ever than Josh.
Whoa.
But they work in Arizona now, and they said we would love to have a game like that. And she said, could you send me along like how you did it?
No. She said, we want to steal that game.
Which is fine. We don't want the idea, and then we'll kind of make it our. No, they want to just take the idea.
Like take on Jaws.
Yeah.
And Paulie goes, hey man, are you cool with it? I go, yes, I'm cool with it. I think it's awesome. Now I'd have a problem if they did it across the street, but I've stolen 80% of my ideas
from the hard line, from Howard Stern.
Yeah, I mean, this is the
ideas from all over the place.
This is the business, and that to me was like the ultimate in flattery because it was my idea to do the game. You're such a great executor of it, and Paulie with the production of it. I mean, it's a total team effort. But Paulie goes, "You wouldn't care, would you?" I go, "Not even a little. I'm completely and totally flattered." So if you're in the Tucson area, check out Rob and Josh. You'll hear Take on Josh.
I was just emailing her. I'm going to send along all my old categories, so you'll have an advantage. You may have heard the game before. You can win tons of prizes. Tucson, Arizona in the future. If anyone wants to go and get a jump start on the second half of their life in Tucson, listening to Rob and Josh.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that they're alive and well and on the air. It's been a while since we've seen those guys.
Yeah, they were great, and enjoy it. I hope you guys crush it in Tucson. It's a game that's worked really well for us, so I'm so happy and honored.
She was like, are you guys still doing it? I'm like, our listeners, they lose their minds for it.
Yeah, they love it.
They love some Take on
Woods.
Woods.
We will play some Take on Woods coming up here in just about 15 minutes later this hour and see if we can qualify another listener for our grand prize, Sammy Hagar, trip to Las Vegas to see him in concert at the Park MGM.
Okay.
Just the reset. More foreplay? You got
did that sorry, should we apologize for that F-bomb that went out over there? Sorry about that.
I don't think you should draw attention to it because
sorry about that.
Adam.
Well, now I apologize for bringing attention to it.
Adam was working very hard back in the studio. Apparently, he missed it. So if any young ears were impacted,
sorry.
I think everything is gonna be okay.
Yeah, you'll be right.
Life will go on. The planet will keep on spinning.
Let's check in with the boss man himself, Adam. How's everything going back there?
Not well anymore.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Get it? 97.3 The Fan. How are you? Everything good?
Terrific, guys.
Good. Why do you sound sarcastic?
Just don't sound very happy.
Be normal. Just is it good or is it bad? Just
can we move on?
Yeah.
I'm just asking how you are. Literally. I'm just how is everything going? How's your day? Like that's just a normal question.
Day's fantastic, guys. Great. All good.
All right.
That was Adam.
That's Adam Klug, our boss back in the Odyssey Empire Studios.
All right, well, we can move on to a little baseball news. Paulie, we just saw this one in a tweet from Jeff Passan. The Kansas City Royals are moving in most of the fences at Kauffman Stadium by 10 feet and lowering their height as well. Their analytics department is trying to create a better home field advantage and a more neutral park for runs scored, as Kauffman Stadium has become one of the most run-suppressing stadiums in Major League Baseball. and they're trying to figure out a way to, change that dynamic. I mean, you got the Pasquatch on your team. You want to be able to hit a few more home runs, I guess, in Kansas City.
Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, all these guys got to be thrilled. Now, if you're, Seth Lugo and the guys in the rotation, I don't know how happy you are about it, but it just maybe will force you to try to keep the ball on the ground. Maybe change the way some of these guys pitch a little bit. Look, you give some and you take some when you do something like that. It's beg the question, though.
It's a reminder, though. When Petco Park first opened, it was massive. It was a cavern.
Yeah.
Got these minor leaguers who probably don't even remember. You had to hit the ball 430 feet just to hit a home run at Petco Park. Famously, Phil Nevin, I think the first season at Petco Park, drilled like a 425-foot double into the far right center field, like triangle out there. That's now the beach, but before then it was actually part of the field out there. Gets to second base, looks up to Kevin Towers in the general manager's box and throws his arms up like, what are you having us play at? It's impossible to get a home run in this ballpark.
The Polo Grounds, like 5'10" or whatever it was to center. But yeah, man, of course it begs the question, right? It begs the question, is this because of the elements, right? And a lot of major league teams face this. They have to deal with the elements. Colorado, you have to deal with the altitude. Wrigley, you have to deal with the wind. San Francisco, the wind. Petco Park, you have to deal with the marine layer. You do. It's a fact of life. And I'm sure it's frustrating to Manny and Tatis and Merrill and all the guys that have the capability of hitting, 25 to 30 home runs a year. When they don't get there, how many balls suppressed by the marine layer? I can think of probably 10 balls off the top of my head that Manny Machado hit to the warning track last year in dead center field. Got all of it, right? And it just, right at the end, guys on the track, makes the catch. But, what does that do to Joe Musgrove? What does that do to Michael King? What does that do to Nick Pivetta? So if you want to do this, great. I mean, maybe now you can outslug some teams if you're the Kansas City Royals, but what does it do to that staff?
Right.
They're not happy.
And ultimately, I think Petco Park, they've dialed it in pretty well and it plays fair. And you're right, the marine layer is certainly going to impact balls on certain nights. But if you're going to err on one side at your home ballpark, you want to err in favor of your pitchers just a little bit because they're the ones who I think have the more lasting effects. Like if you keep getting pitchers who are knocked out early because they give up some wall-scraping home runs, get into your bullpen more, that can have a bad impact on your season. You get a hitter who hits a deep fly ball that's caught at the warning track, it's frustrating, but if they can handle that mentally, they're like, just know, you've got all of that. That's not your fault. You got all.
I don't know about that, man. I mean, I don't know.
You think so?
If you barrel a ball and you're like, see ya, and it's not because of anything you did, and the elements or the distance keeps it out. I could see myself.
Don't get me wrong. There have been players who have had get Petco Park inside their heads and have started making changes because they felt like they weren't doing the right thing in the ball. They weren't getting the results they were looking for when really they were, and Petco Park was simply having a bad effect on their numbers, especially their power numbers.
Yeah.
But they're still going to be in the game, taking their swings. If you get a pitcher whose numbers are like, if they start giving up extra, having to throw extra pitches because of a tougher ballpark to pitch in,
it's funny
that has a worse effect on your team
because you say err on the side of the pitchers, but I'll tell you, man, what puts asses in the seats these days? It's offense, right?
True.
And that's been all the moves they've made in baseball over the last few years has been to do what? Increase offense. And I think it'll be interesting to see. Now, you look at what the A's went through last year playing in that minor league ballpark. They had some guys with massive numbers. Well, they're playing in a minor league ballpark. It's a little bit different, a little bit easier. Those numbers will even out once they get to Las Vegas and play. So you kind of got to take it all with a grain of salt. You want your players to not be affected at all, but they're human. They're human. They're going out there. They're putting in tons of work. The pitchers are putting in tons of work. And, we'll see how it plays out there at Kauffman. And, listen, maybe there's a happy medium. Maybe it's bring the fences in 3 feet at Petco Park. I think that could help tremendously without screwing with, all of the pitchers. But maybe it's a fine line between taking from one to give to the other.
I'll tell you what, it was perfect last year for Fernando Tatis Jr. to rob 4 home runs.
It sure was.
At
It
Petco
sure
Park.
was.
Just the right distance.
It sure was.
Of wall and wall height combination to turn him into a now 2-time Platinum Glove Award winner out there in right field.
But I'll tell you what, the knowing that they moved it in 10 feet, I'm going to be scouring the Kansas City Royals a little bit more in my fantasy league than I would have before.
I do like that they're lowering the fences. Other than if like a green monster or something that is unique and tall. I don't understand why there's ever a fence in Major League Baseball that shouldn't be at the perfect height for a guy to jump over and rob it. It's such an exciting play. Why would you have a fence that's 14 feet high that there's no chance you can go and make one of the most exciting plays in baseball because of the design of your ballpark?
My favorite are the parks that have the fence behind the fence and then the fence above that one. It just drives you crazy. Which one did it hit? Did it hit above the line or below the line?
Bounce back onto the field.
Listen, I don't want to go back to the days of where every ballpark looked like Arlington Stadium, just as, symmetric as it can get. I didn't really like that. It did get a little wheels off for a while with a ramp up in center field in Houston. I thought that was a little dumb. The brick wall, I think, has seen its better days in Wrigley Field. I know there's a lot of tradition, but you could put a pad up there. You can find a way to put ivy on a pad. There's got to be a way. The way they can do anything these days, you could still make it look like it always has. But with the
basket, you can't ever rob a home run there either.
Yeah,
so
you got
the
dumb
basket. So
yeah, it's interesting. I think that's part of what makes baseball great sometimes is the little differences in ballparks, right. And you got to go out and you got to work the wall in Fenway.
Every basketball court, every football field,
yeah.
Every really soccer field that's done right, they're all exactly the same.
Imagine golf on the same
course. Yeah, every hole is exactly the same.
Just lose your mind.
Every single time. Here's another 425-yard par 4 with the bunker on the left, and there we go. Same hole everywhere, every time.
65 under after the tournament. It's just like, this is horrible, but I do like the difference of it. So we'll see what happens in Kansas City. I'm certainly interested for those pitchers to see how they're going to react. But I bet Vinny Pasquantino is very happy.
I would think so.
Jack Caglione and those guys are ready to rake at Kauffman Stadium.
All right, I know you guys are going to put on your uniforms here in just a minute. We're going to play Take on Woods when we come back, so let's get a contestant online. If you'd like to take on Woods on either now music, TV, or movies, we've got all 3 categories available to you. You can call in at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll play our game with a chance to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas. Coming up in just a moment here with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, though, Woods and I want to remind you about our favorite card room. It is the spot to play cards. California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, or Baccarat. It's not a spot for slot machine players.
No.
They don't have any of those. But if you're a card player, you should not be going anywhere else in San Diego than 7 Mile Casino for a multitude of reasons.
Well, if you're looking for a place to go smoke cigarettes, right? That's not going to be the place for you. It's a smoke-free environment. They got friendly dealers, and they have phenomenal food as well. But it's a cool place, right? We always say that. It's a cool place to go in. Doesn't feel dirty or dingy. You don't feel like you're doing something wrong when you go to 7 Mile.
Has a good part to do with that as well. Keeps it nice in there, just feels like there's light, there's windows. It's nice when you're going in there. It's comfortable. They treat you well. Dealers are good. And the food is phenomenal. Sammy's wood-fired pizza inside 7 Mile Casino with their normal menu, plus the 24/7 players menu.
That's exactly right. Check it out for yourselves. Make it a priority in 26 to get down there at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Basketball. They will continue their Mountain West season tomorrow night at Wyoming, putting their 5-0 record in conference play on the line, Paulie. But Joe Lunardi, for the first time since they lost, I think, to Troy, has put the Aztecs back in his bracketology watch. Not in the field, but in one of the next 4 teams out
to watch,
which is at least better than they have been, which is
bubble
completely
team.
Yeah, they're kind of now back to at least a bubble team after winning their first 5 games in conference play. So this is a dangerous game tomorrow night at Wyoming, because Wyoming's not a great team, but it's the altitude game. They're having a team meeting in there, some clubhouse meeting.
Something crazy.
Getting excited about something.
Hey, JoJo, can you tell him to shut the F up in there? What's going on? Okay, I was just told they announced Carlos Hernandez is going to be the president of Venezuela, and Mark Grant is live streaming the whole thing, and the place
Big
just
news.
went nuts. I don't know.
I have no idea what's going
Baseball
on.
players are weird sometimes.
We celebrated Carlos Hernandez being the next
Yeah,
Carlos.
that sounds entertaining
Carlos
in there,
and
whatever's
Mud.
going on.
Carlos and Mud, the
All right,
ringleaders. Weird.
Woods is off, so we can play our game of Take on Woods. Let's get to it. Take on Woods, brought to you by Mail Arms, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you, and we got Russ back on the line. Russ, how you doing today?
I'm doing well.
All right, so you now get the choice of 3 categories between music, movies, and television for your chance to qualify for our grand prize drawing trip to Las Vegas to see Sammy Hagar in his residency this year at the Dolby Live at Park MGM, plus a 2-night stay at the Park MGM and a $100 gas card. Get your tickets for Sammy Hagar in March or September by going to Ticketmaster.com. Here are your categories you can choose from. Our music category, that's not very nice. 5 songs with an insult in the title. We've got our TV category, not on the map. 5 TV shows set in fictional American towns. And our new movie categories, Lost and Finding. No, not Lost and Found. Lost and Finding. Movies with either Lost or Finding in the title. So would you like to play music? That's not very nice. TV, not on the map, or movies, Lost and Finding. Russ?
Let's do music.
Music is the category today. All right, we've got 5 questions, 60 seconds, songs that all have some sort of an insult in the title. You'll have your 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 questions as you can. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Adam will play a little music back in the studio. You need to give me the song title and the artist to score that one. Russ, are you ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Adam plays the music, the category that's not very nice. Good luck, Russ. Let's take on Woods.
Some people call me the space cowboy.
Joker, Steve Miller.
Correct. Which political protest song also provided the title for Green Day's 7th album, which became their first album to top the charts in 2004?
American Idiot.
Correct. Which 1992 debut single by Radiohead wasn't initially successful, but later became an international hit?
Pass.
Which song written by Brendan Brown about his youth in Long Island became a top 10 hit for Wheatus on their 2000 debut album?
Pass.
Which song about a 1966 dance craze became a top 10 hit for the Capitals?
Pass.
Which 1992 debut single by Radiohead wasn't initially successful, but later became an international hit? Creep, correct. That's 3 out of 5. Nice job. The ones you didn't get, Teenage Dirtbag, and the last one, tough one, Cool Jerk. So we got Joker, Idiot, Creep, Dirtbag, and Jerk. Let's text Woods.
He's coming back.
Bring him back. He's got 3.
He's hiding in the
as his score to beat. All right, he is coming back out of the trainer's room. All right. Russ is your opponent today. I don't think it's that Russ, fortunately. The one from Victorville, right?
Oh, Russ from Victorville?
I don't think it's Russ from Victorville.
The human cigarette?
Russ's score is locked in. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Adam plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Russ.
Some people
That
call
is
me
the
the
Joker
space
by
cowboy.
the Steve Miller Band.
Correct. Which political protest song also provided the title for Green Day's 7th album, which became their
American
first...
Idiot.
Correct. Which 1992 debut single by Radiohead wasn't initially successful, but later became an international hit?
Creep?
Correct. Which song written by Brendan Brown about his youth in Long Island became a top 10 hit for Wheatus on their 2000 debut album?
Teenage Dirtbag.
Correct. Which song about a 1966 dance craze became a top 10 hit for the Capitals? Get this one, I'll be impressed. But can you figure out the category?
I have no idea category. This
yeah.
is like a pick'em.
Joker, Idiot, Creep, Dirtbag.
Oh, Joker, Idiot, Creep, Dirtbag, Taint. The Taint.
Cool Jerk.
Cool Jerk?
Yeah, is that one. But you got 4-3 win for Woodsy today. Russ, thank you for playing. Good game, but came up a little bit short in That's Not Very Nice, today's category.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. I could
insults.
not. I was like, what in the world?
And I was doing this category with my buddy. He goes, why didn't you put Loser in by Beck?
By
I go,
Beck?
I don't know. I forgot about that
Yeah.
one completely. That would have been a perfect addition to this category.
Adam, can you say Ben saying cool jerk, please. I might need that for another time. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to take a time out. Is everyone leaving out for the games already?
Everyone's heading
going
out
on?
to go stretch and warm up.
But we got
and
you
get
guys for a
ready.
little bit longer, so
We'll
you're
do
just going to
another
have to go
segment.
in cold.
Okay.
We will come back with more Ben Woods and Paul live from Padres Fantasy Camp in Peoria, Arizona next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
We have been remiss in our first 2 hours and 37 minutes in not offering our congratulations to Mikey Varas on receiving a multi-year contract extension to remain the head coach at SDFC following his successful inaugural season last year. That was announced by the team yesterday. No official terms were revealed as to what kind of raise he's getting or how many years it is, although I don't think he was signed to a one-year deal to begin with.
Right.
So it's a multi-year contract extension, which is announced. You got to figure he's good for at least 3 more years at this point, and that's obviously, in our opinion, a brilliant move by SDFC to lock up Mikey Varas for as long as possible. He's been a gift to new and old now soccer fans of San Diego as SDFC had their phenomenal first season.
That's pretty cool to get a contract extension. I hope to be a part of one someday.
Paulie, would you book Mikey Varas for the show tomorrow so we can
Talk
congratulate
to him,
him personally?
Yes.
I'll give you like 30 seconds to get that done.
All right, he is in.
All right, what
great.
time?
We're going to do, how about 7:15 a.m.?
Okay, all right, good.
And we'll do this on Thursday morning when we're all back in studio together.
Oh,
Thursday,
beautiful.
Does that work?
Thursday morning, 7:15.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
push back. Don't do this. That'll be fine. Acceptable. Good work, Paulie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's clearly. I mean, you know, he in his first season had to get through some issues, including obviously the Chucky Lozano situation, which they have, for good or ill, resolved. Moving forward, they're going to loan him out or sell him to another team and move on. You had to take a team that nobody really knew each other at the beginning from scratch, build a system, build a culture, did that in remarkable time. And by the end of the season, we're clearly one of the top teams in all of Major League Soccer. I mean, you cannot really ask more of a coach in 1 year than what Mikey Varas did. And now as they come back and are already starting year number 2, they are so far ahead of where they were at this point last year, which was, hi, I'm, we're wearing name tags.
Yeah,
like,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Anders. Welcome to the team. Welcome to San Diego. Guys, never been to the United States before, some of them on the team at this point. Much further along, which should only bode very well for season 2 of SDFC.
Smarsh the Numbers in the chat wants to know, when are we going to talk some college football?
I wanted to
Ben?
talk some college football in this segment, actually.
I love that idea.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
We will do that after a check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Well, guys, we still have a few problems out here. One of them is this collision on the East Street on-ramp to northbound 5. Looks like a motorcycle involved in this one. It's over to the right shoulder, and an accident clearing on northbound 805 right before 43rd. Westbound 8, hit-and-run accident before Severn. Those vehicles are over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on northbound 125 before the King Freeway. We're getting reports of some sort of debris in that right lane. Coastline ride, southbound 5, just past Cannon, accident in the clearing stage. New year, new goals. Start with your car at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. A fast oil change and essential maintenance checks help keep you moving into the new year. Check it off your list. Visit SoCalOilChange.com. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, ready when you are. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Just how impressive have the Indiana Hoosiers been this season and in this postseason? I want to give you a quick example as we get ready for Monday's championship game in Miami. Last week, before the semifinal games, the odds makers did odds for all the potential championship combinations. All right, well, if it's Oregon against Miami, here's what it would look like. If it's Oregon against Ole Miss, here's what it would look like. If it's Indiana and Ole Miss, Indiana and Miami. And they said, well, knowing Miami would be the home team if they won, playing at Hard Rock Stadium, getting the luck of the draw.
Yep.
Indiana's been really good, though. They said, we still think Indiana would be a 5.5-point favorite. And then Indiana went out and smashed Oregon.
Slaughtered them.
And now, even though they're playing technically a road game in the championship, that number has gone from 5.5 to 7.5 to 8.5 now, as we are 6 days away from the college football playoff championship game on Monday. The Indiana Hoosiers, the most unheralded college football program in the country that has had zero success until last year when they hired Kurt Cignetti, is now an 8.5-point road favorite in the championship game over arguably one of the hottest, nastiest, toughest teams in all of the country, Miami. That's how impressive and good Indiana has been. They were so good and impressive that they were being accused of cheating. Like, they must have gotten Oregon's playbook or something in the last game. Like, there's no way you could have been that dominant. And Curt Cignetti knows. It's called winning up front, and that's what dominance looks like when you win up front in a game like that. That is incredible. I mean, we never saw Nick Saban teams be maybe this dominant.
Yeah, they beat my Irish pretty good in that one year.
In the semifinal, in that final
years ago. But yeah, this is a different animal altogether. And no, it's one of the greatest stories in sports, I think, in the last 5 years. Certainly their rise to prominence. And I don't want to sit in here and say Miami has no shot, because I've seen the way that they play football. And Benny, they're very capable of winning up front as well. That's going to be the interesting part. Those two going head to head on the offensive and defensive line. But yeah, man, I think what it's going to come down to, guess what? It's going to come down to quarterback play. And I think that Mendoza is far superior to 27-year-old Carson Beck. Even though he's got a lot of experience, I think Mendoza has full control of this offense right now. And it was evident if you watched that game the other night.
How many college football programs in America, with the amount of turnover and the number of coaches that get fired and the number of programs that are looking for a quick fix, which you were always taught there's no such thing as a quick fix. You
there
is
is
put
now.
in the work. How many of them are going, we could have had this guy? Remember, Curt Cignetti, yes, he was a Nick Saban assistant in the late 2000s at Alabama. But after that, he was at IUPUI, Elon, and James Madison. Like any Power 4 school that came coming could have probably had him.
Sure.
Like, Indiana could not have been his top choice. Like,
no,
I've always dreamed of the Indiana job. No one dreams of the Indiana football job. It was another prove-it job he was probably hoping to take on the ladder up to an SEC school or a real Big Ten school that wasn't Indiana. But he has now turned Indiana
into a real
Big Ten job, and one where he can stay. Signs the contract extension, and he's now got a powerhouse.
He's getting guys from the portal. I mean, he's getting all kinds of dudes. I mean, he's got a team, and they talked about it a lot on the broadcast. He kind of collected a team of good players, pretty good. Oh, he's really good at James Madison. He'll be okay at Indiana, and he's turned those guys, all the guys with the chips on their shoulder, Ben, into this force to be reckoned with. And now the blue chippers are coming to play for him because they want to win. And I think that's a really cool story. And kudos to him and them for all their success. It's pretty remarkable.
Now he's a serious guy.
He's very serious.
So much so that he had to defend himself. I saw a story where Curt Cignetti says, I do occasionally smile. Joker, idiot, creep, dirtbag, and jerk. He's not. I think he's just a very stoic, serious guy.
I always wonder, too, how much of that with coaches is eyewash. We used to laugh at Belichick and Saban. Saban would be up 51-6 with a minute and a half left, and he's still stalking the sidelines. And listen, I understand. You play till the whistle blows. I think that's a great bit. But it is okay to let yourself go. I think we're good. We got a 46-point lead right now with a minute and a half left. I think we can throw a smile on.
So the guys at SI kind of tracked him in the game against Oregon. They said early in the fourth quarter, Indiana up 42-15. The Hoosiers blocked a punt, recovered at the 7-yard line. Not time for a smile yet. He wasn't happy they didn't score on the punt.
Right.
Scored the touchdown, make it 49-15. Didn't crack a smile at that point. Then 5 plays later, after a turnover on downs, 23-yard touchdown, made it 55-15 before the extra point. And then, and only then, with the 40-point lead in the fourth quarter in the college football semifinal, they say Cignetti cracked a smile. Maybe for the first time all year, cracked a smile for his team.
It's been a cool story. I mean, yes, and as Smash the Number says, older players are getting paid. Average age of that team is 23 years old, which is just crazy for college football in 2026. But, hey, man, that's the rules in which they play now, and they certainly haven't broken any rules that we know of, and they're doing things. And, again, they do have some Mark Cuban money, and they're making the most of it. A lot of teams now pay a lot of players. And there's only 2 teams left in the finals, and both of them well deserved.
Trinidad Chambliss is lobbying, suing essentially for 1 more year of eligibility, a medical red shirt to return to Ole Miss. He is 23. He would be 24 in August when the season starts if he comes back as a college football quarterback for 1 more year. And why is that the case? Well, in the past, players wanted to get their pro career started as soon as possible because, well, they wanted to make some money. But now there's so much money available in big-time college football, in the SEC and the Big Ten, doesn't really make them in any hurry to get to the next level where the competition is tougher and the guys are stronger and the linebackers who are running you are fiercer. If you can make good money playing college football and having success, why not draw that out as long as possible before starting your pro football career?
Yeah, I mean, again, they were doing somebody said that, one of these quarterbacks makes more than Jackson Dart, made on his rookie deal with the Giants. And I don't know that that's how it should be. But we've talked many times about the Wild West of college football right now. And there's rules in place. There are parameters in which they have to operate. You still have to go out and win the football games. You still have to battle those dudes and win those games. And he's done it better than anybody else has right now.
All right, so we talked a little college football
there
for you right there. Pro football, the matchups for the divisional round are now set after last night's 30-6 win for the Houston Texans over the Pittsburgh Steelers. First ever road playoff win in Houston franchise history, by the way. They also, I don't think I knew this, that's their 10th straight win. They won their last 9 regular season games.
I knew that either.
Just very quietly. I knew they were playing
Houston.
good. I knew they were playing good. I knew their defense was really good. I did not know they had won 9 in a row going into the playoffs. But now with 10 straight wins, they'll go into New England to face the Patriots on Sunday at noon. That game will be on ABC. The other AFC divisional game will be Saturday at 1:30 on CBS. That'll be the Bills at the Denver Broncos, which is a pretty intriguing matchup as well. See how the Broncos, after pretty much defying expectations all season long, how will they do against Josh Allen and a playoff tested and hardened Buffalo Bills team against a Broncos team that hasn't been there in quite a while. But we'll have the home field advantage. We'll be rested and fresh after Buffalo had to go on the road and win last week.
I can't wait. But NFL playoffs so far have been fantastic. I mean, really, last night's game was probably the worst game. The Charger game wasn't great either. But everything else has just been phenomenal.
And CJ Stroud was bad last night. I mean, to the point that I was seeing commentators go, should they yank him and put Davis Mills in the game?
They looked like they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they were dropping the snaps.
He was rattled.
Interceptions.
He was rattled.
I couldn't get the game, so I'll let you guys fill me in.
You should have just asked me. I would have helped you.
Joker, idiot, creep, dirtbag, and jerk.
Thank you, Adam.
He looked rattled, yet they were winning. So they just decided not to make a change.
But to play that bad and win
that by that many
on the road shows how bad the Steelers were.
Yeah, so that could be that's probably the final Aaron Rodgers game.
I mean, is it he led a team to the playoffs this year?
Yeah.
Isn't there going to be a team that doesn't have a quarterback in the offseason that's going to go? I mean, he's not the perfect solution, but he gives us
in the hunt.
Gives us a better shot than what we've got on our roster at this point. I mean,
just 1 year deal, different team every year until he's done.
I mean, could he retire and then come back in 5 years and play again? Like, who knows? I mean, the precedent has now been set that is any quarterback truly retired.
Yeah.
Ever. If they need them, they can always come back. NFC matchups on Saturday at 5 p.m. on Fox. It's the 49ers at the Seahawks. Every NFC West team other than the Cardinals is still alive. Rams at Bears will be the Sunday game at 3:30 on NBC. Adam, are we carrying most or all of those games this weekend on 97.3 The Fan?
Yeah, all the games except for the early game on Saturday. We'll have UCSD basketball.
All right, so we'll have the late game on Saturday and the doubleheader on Sunday for both of those games. But at least one NFC West team, and maybe could be an all NFC West NFC Championship game. And I think the 49ers will meet their match in Seattle. But I think the Rams-Bears game is the game of the weekend.
Can't wait.
In my mind. I think that's the one that I'm most intrigued about. And if you're the Rams, even if you get ahead, you cannot let off the gas against the Chicago Bears.
Fourth quarter team, man. 25 points in the fourth quarter the other day. I mean, that's just staggering in today's NFL. And Caleb Williams, man, it's gonna be a great game, great weekend, and a whole bevy of sports here on 97.3 The Fan for you, the sports fan.
For the teams that aren't in the playoffs, saw that John Harbaugh interviewed with the Atlanta Falcons. He's reportedly doing a lot of vetting of the teams. He's not just going to interview with everybody. He's got a couple of targets. Clearly, the Falcons are one that is intriguing him. He officially went for an interview. I saw Mike McDaniel has lined up multiple, like 5 interviews already after being let go by the Miami Dolphins. So, he still remains an intriguing possibility for teams out there that are looking for a coach right now. And we still have, a third of the league that is currently looking for head coaches at this point.
All right, Benny. So you're going to be doing the last hour solo, you and Adam?
Yes.
Adam, help him out when you can. Certainly, please.
Well, we have Don't Do This.
Don't do this.
So we've got some good audio from the NBA last night. And we got a positive Do This story. And if you missed it, we're also going to bring back the emotional conversation, at least part of it, that we had with Tim Flannry early this morning at 7 o'clock. Talked about the loss of his good friend Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead. Talked about his first ever conversation with AJ Preller.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I was stunned. I was surprised that the two had never talked until very recently.
Just incredible. He thought he was being pranked. If you missed that, you're going to want to hear this one. Some of the campers have come up to us and told us how great how much they love that. So, Benny, safe travels back.
All right,
we'll see you live on the stream tomorrow.
I will be back in the studio tomorrow.
All right.
You guys,
love
good luck in your final regular season game, and then championship for tomorrow for Woods. But we will be back with me and Adam for the final hour of Ben and Woods, live from Padres Fantasy Camp on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. here at their spring training facility, and I just got a little sneak peek of a sound check. Tim Flannry and Jake Peavy getting the guitars out, which has been a real treat a couple of years where they've gotten together and done a bit of a show for the fantasy campers, and it sounds like they're going to be doing that this afternoon. I won't get to stick around and hear it. I'm coming home right after the show today. Paulie and Woods have headed out. It's their final, I guess you call it their regular season game before tomorrow's championship. And Adam, I don't know how it works necessarily around here at Fantasy Camp, but they play a round robin of games with all the different teams in the first few days, and then they actually keep standings. I mean, they do it pretty legit. They've got a scorekeeper. They've got real umpires. I asked Tom Seidler yesterday, where do you get the umpires? And he said, these are like minor league umpires who live in the area, and they're coming out to get paid, get a little work, prep before the season starts. So they have real umpires, 2 of them for each game, who come out, and they keep score. You know, they have some modified rules in terms of stolen bases and wild pitches because these aren't professional players, but they take the game seriously when they're playing them, and they keep the standings. And then at the end, with the 8 teams, they set up 4 final games that are played not on the backfields here, but in the stadium where the Padres and Mariners play their actual spring training games in the Cactus League. So you get to go and play in a real spring training stadium with, it's about 11,000 seat stadium. And the earlier games are for the 7th and 8th place teams, and then 5th versus 6th, 3rd versus 4th, and then finally the last game of the whole week is the championship game. And for the first time ever, Adam, Woods is going to get to play in the championship game tomorrow. They've already clinched it. No matter what happens today, they'll play in tomorrow's championship game. So I know he's very excited about that opportunity. He's out joining his team for their last game right now of Fantasy Camp. But it's been a pretty fun week, as it always is.
I've got to say, I'm fairly jealous of Woods because I used to be a pretty good baseball player when I was younger, and I really loved to play. And anytime I hear him talking about whether it's Fantasy Camp or playing in the adult league that he's in, I'm like, man, I would love to do that. I don't know how I could find the time to pull away from my 3 kids and be like, hey, wife, I'm going to go play baseball. Take care of the 3 kids.
I think all the fantasy campers, almost all of them, go through the same sort of thing. And I didn't even come out here for the first few years. I just felt like there's no chance. I haven't played baseball in many, many years. I just don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to get hurt.
You were swinging it yesterday, though.
I'm kind of scared of the ball, but after a couple of years, Woods kind of suggested this, and I was like, no. He said, no, we need to get you at least an at-bat. And he'd been talking about this for a while, not just since we got to Fantasy Camp, but probably like a month or 2. He said, I really would like you to just get into the batter's box. I will pitch to you. We will just see what happens. Just one at-bat. And it's like, how do you say no when he asks, when he wants something, he'll just keep bugging you about it until you say yes anyway. So I relented and I said, all right, if we can make it work, I will try to get in there. My expectations were pretty low. I had not taken a real swing against a pitcher since I was probably like 15 or 16 years old. That's when I last played organized baseball. After that, I focused on golf and, played that in college and just thought I was done with baseball completely. When I got into the box and dug in, it kind of came back to me a little bit. I just wanted to make sure, you're probably going to strike out, but try to at least make it look like how you're, swinging. Nice short go with a short, compact swing. It's going to seem fast. Even with Woods throwing about 60, 65 miles an hour, it's going to seem fast because you haven't seen a pitch even in a batting cage in decades. So, I get in there and I dig in and I'm nervous. I don't know what kind of control Woods has on these pitches. And the first one's kind of outside and I lay off of it. And I go, okay, I've seen one now. Next one puts it high. I don't know if it's a strike or not, but I try to swing. I'm a mile late. I know, okay, I've got to start earlier. There's no way I'm going to get this. No way I'm going to get contact. Then the next one, he throws a real nasty kind of low outside corner. I do reach. I see it. I reach out for it, but can't catch up to it. So I'm now down in the count. Comes back, and I get a piece of his next pitch. I foul it off just at the plate. It goes right behind me, but I okay, I touched it. If I can foul one off, I can hit it. Throws us a cutter that's high and outside, so I lay off that one. And then I actually did think, okay, here we go, ready. And I saw one coming inside, and I pulled off a little bit, but I was able to get my hands to it and hit the ball to the left side through the left part of the infield. He's probably right. In any legitimate organized baseball with an infielder, it's a ground out to shortstop. But in fantasy camp, they say that's a fantasy camp single. So I was pretty proud of myself yesterday.
You should be proud. You got bat on ball. That's what matters. How much movement was on his pitches, though? Like, can he spin it?
Jake Peavy said the cut. He liked the movement that he had on his cutter. It was hard for me to tell. He did not throw me a slider. He has a slider. He was kind enough to at least not throw me a breaking ball in my first at bat in years. So I will give him credit for being very fair-minded. And he was also pretty careful not to hit me. The only pitch that was even remotely on the inside part of the plate was the one I actually hit. So, I did not want to get drilled in my first at bat in years. So I appreciated that. But it was a good moment. And it actually has made me consider the possibility of when I come back, could I actually do this? Could I actually play baseball at the age of, it'll be 51 next year when we come back. But I'll put some thought into it. I don't want to take a spot away, though. There's so many fantasy campers here now. They've gotten the numbers over 100 fantasy campers. They filled up one locker room. They filled up half of the minor league locker room. It's a pretty amazing week. And I do encourage, if for any reason you thought you might have an opportunity to do it, you could swing it financially, the time off necessary to come out to Arizona. If you're a baseball fan, if you've played the game and you're a Padres fan, it's pretty unbelievable. I'm always surprised at really how much you do get when you're out here in terms of the experiences with the coaches, not just on the field, but off the field, the dinners, the events that they plan. You get the access to the training room, to the cafeteria. They have food out here for everybody in the mornings and in the afternoons. It's really spectacular. I really cannot say how, just the magic that is in the eyes of all these players out here. It's really fun to just kind of witness for me as an observer.
I mean, look, the story that Jake Peavy told yesterday about the dinner with he and Trevor Hoffman and the bill they rung up, right? And yeah, that still sits with me and all the people who go to the camp and got to experience, they got to have an amazing dinner with a Hall of Famer and Trevor Hoffman. But not only that, they got to experience what it's like to have the prank pulled on them. And I was telling my wife that story last night and laughing about it. And she laughed because it's a great story. But then she goes, they didn't even get to enjoy the terrific dinner because they were worried about the check.
They're so nervous about the check. I had that same thought, but I also thought, and if you missed it, they ordered good bottles of wine. They ordered 3 seafood towers. Those things, like $140 a pop at most restaurants at this point. So, the bill is quickly climbing into the thousands of dollars. And the campers think, all right, we're going to have to split this, 10 or 11 ways. This is going to be several $100s per person. But if you thought about, you have these charity auctions where if you could say steak dinner with Jake Peavy and Trevor Hoffman.
Right.
What would you bid on that at one of those silent auctions? I'll
but at least you're choosing to make that bid.
$3,000. You're choosing to make that bid, but these guys actually ended up with that as part of their fantasy camp experience. For the price of fantasy camp, they also got this unbelievable experience to go, and not everyone gets that. Those campers on that team happen to be absolutely extra fortunate, but it's fun to even just go down it's fun to go to the Chili's down the street with Heath Bell or whatever, and just you get to experience that as well. So pretty amazing week so far, and I'm glad I got to experience it again, and glad Paulie and Woods are getting to play and will be here through the championship games tomorrow. Meanwhile, it also leads always to a bit of an awkward situation because we do talk some Padres baseball. We did earlier today, talked about rumors flying around that Nick Pivetta remains a guy who is being actively discussed in trades by AJ Preller. But for me, it's always a little uncomfortable to discuss my only semi-informed opinions on the San Diego Padres while sitting in their building. AJ Preller has offices. He's not here right now, I don't think, but he has offices upstairs. Anyone from the organization, can listen to what I am saying about their team, about their employer.
But Ben, he listens to the show, right? He caught you on the day after the trade deadline. So what's the difference?
I don't know. I'm sitting in his building right now. He's got a million spies and moles in here all over this place. I think it's more for me. I'm worried about sounding like an absolute fool. You idiot. We would never trade Nick Pivetta. I can't believe you believe those rumors in the Athletic. There's no chance well, that's all the information that I've got to run on. Unless you want to text me and tell me exactly what you're thinking, I'm just going to sit here and, repeat the rumors that we've been hearing this offseason, which, again, don't make a lot of sense.
Ben, you could get your brother plays hoops with AJ. You could get your brother to ask him, like, hey, can you just, shoot this rumor down? Let me tell Ben.
I don't really get
intermediary
much information. The only thing that I get is I know AJ is very, very happy here and wants to remain in San Diego. So that's why I haven't really panicked about the fact that he hasn't gotten his contract extension yet. I feel like, they're on the track to do that. I don't know any news and if that's getting closer, but what I don't understand though is how can the two rumors for the Padres be? The Padres want to add pitching and possibly want to trade Nick Pivetta. Those are the opposite things. Those are the two biggest rumors going around, that the Padres want to add pitching and potentially trade Nick Pivetta. That makes no sense.
Not totally. The Venn diagram? There's a small portion of it that
on
overlaps. But there's a small portion if you could trade
pitching while trading Nick Pivetta.
If you trade possible. Nick Pivetta for two pitchers, you have traded Nick Pivetta and you have added pitching. It's a big if.
You could have free some money to potentially sign a third pitcher. And, you could add depth that way. Unless you get remarkably lucky or remarkably savvy, I can't imagine any of those three pitchers that you would get are going to be anywhere near as good as Nick Pivetta was last year. Otherwise, why would the other teams be trading away good pitching to get a guy who isn't as good as Nick Pivetta is? So I don't know if there's a way to make the team better.
I didn't say how good the pitchers would be. I just said you'd be adding.
Well, I know. So to me, that's the most confusing rumor, but it's the one that keeps popping up every couple of weeks. All right. Good reminder. It is time to announce the biggest fan. A little late here. I apologize. But if you hear your name called, you'll have 10 minutes to call us back and qualify for our grand prize drawing. It is a night in the Padres Odyssey Suite at Petco Park this season with all the fan staff. 20 tickets for you, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. And our biggest fan this morning is Robert Hutzlar from Chula Vista. Robert Hutzlar from Chula Vista. You are now on the clock for the next 10 minutes, 833-288-0973. Adam will be looking for your call during the break. Remember, you still have time to register your name for our biggest fan contest at 973thefan, sd.com/biggest-fan. I have names for you every day at 9, 1 o'clock, and 5:30. While Robert gets his opportunity to call, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, pushed it back from earlier, time for Don't Do This, including an NBA head coach who had a very unique way of making his point about what he thought was a blown call at the end of a game, plus the college basketball game that should have been impossible to lose, and how a team lost with a 2-point lead, 0.1 seconds left, and the ball on the absolute opposite end of the court. We'll explain that coming up next after a check of traffic with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, before I go, want to make sure everybody knows that you still have the opportunity to sign up for SDFatLoss.com's biggest sale of the year. Their New Year's sale extended due to massive popular demand. People want to start the program. And even if you haven't done so yet, you can still follow through on your New Year's resolutions by losing up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days, thanks to SDFatLoss.com and the great support you're going to get from their counselors and coaches who will team up with you to show you how to eat, when to eat, and a program that is based on real food that you're eating normally, like chicken and steak and vegetables. It made such a difference for me because I wasn't relying on shakes or bars that you're not going to eat forever. I could barely get through it on other programs for a couple of months, and then instantly I went back to real food, and the weight started slowly coming back on. Well, with SDFatLoss.com, I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. I've kept that weight off, looked pretty good in that video, taking a swing off Woods yesterday. I was proud of myself that I've kept that weight off, and I've also probably would not have been in shape to even be able to do that a couple of years ago if not for SDFatLoss.com. Again, sign up for your free consultation online, and you will have no injections. You don't need exercise to lose weight on this program. You'll be able to exercise after you go through the program. I've been able to exercise more after finishing SDFatLoss.com. All you have to do is get the program started. Take advantage. 20% off now at SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Sports that make us all shake our heads.
How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron. Dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this.
Do not tweet that.
With Ben and Woods.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
On 97.3 The Fan.
A little later in the show than usual, but Don't Do This is here, and it is brought to you by Dixie Line Lumber and Home Centers, helping San Diego homeowners and contractors fix it, build it, and enjoy it. Ben and Adam here until 10 o'clock. And Adam, I got some stories for us to react to in DDT, starting in the NBA, where Boston Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla was not happy how the end of his team's game went last night against the Indiana Pacers. At the end of the game was tied, and it was 96-96, I believe, and the Pacers had the ball, and they were trying to get the ball to Pascal Siakam, who was running around and used what is a very questionable screen to get a favorable matchup on the pick and roll, and he eventually would get in and bank the shot in for what turned out to be the winning basket. Well, Mazzulla was unhappy, yelled at the refs, that's an illegal screen. That's an illegal screen. He wanted to make a point of it in his post-game news conference, though, what he thought was the mistake by the officials, and he did it in a unique way. Here's the first, 3 or 4 questions from his post-game news conference.
Joe, give yourselves a chance to win, I guess. Take us through the last couple possessions.
Illegal screen.
What'd you say?
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
What fell apart to get you guys behind, and then how were you able to get back?
Illegal screen.
What do you mean by that? What do you want people to know?
Illegal screen.
Would you like to see anything else?
Illegal screen.
Yeah, so Joe Mazzulla just answered every question in his post-game news conference with the 2-word phrase, illegal screen. Adam, is that a finable offense? He didn't specifically say the refs blew a call. He just answered every question by saying illegal screen. He didn't say what was an illegal screen.
He's criticizing the refs.
He wasn't specific. He, of course, is criticizing the refs, yes. And my guess is he will probably get fined for it. But creative, I'll give him points for the creativity after the game that the Pacers did win. Speaking of games that were decided late, this was actually over the weekend, but I just saw this yesterday, and I thought, you do not have a more don't do this ending than the way Chicago State lost their game to Stonehill College on Saturday night. They're on the road. They're looking to pull off a Northeastern Conference upset on the road. Chicago State, not very good. I think they were 2-14 coming into the game, but they had a 71-69 lead with 1/10 of a second remaining. Now, Stonehill had the basketball, was going to inbound it, but they were on the wrong end of the court. They had to go the entire 94 feet, and with only 0.1 seconds left, they would have had to tip in a shot to tie it, or tip in a three-pointer, if that's even possible, to win the game. So really, you don't have to do anything. As soon as they touch it, all you have to do is defend a complete full-court lob pass and not let them tip it in right at the it's got to be the easiest win in history. So they come out, and Stonehill sets up their inbound play with 94 feet to go in 0.1 second. And Chicago State starts to set up their defense when their coach looks out there and goes, all right, I want a timeout to tell my team what they need to do. Calls the timeout. Here's the problem. Didn't have any timeouts left. And it was a 2-shot technical foul for calling a timeout with no timeouts remaining. Stonehill sunk both of the free throws to tie the game and then ended up winning the game in overtime, 85-82. The only way they could have lost that game was by the coach calling an illegal timeout, and he lost the game for them. I mean, I don't think Don't Do This gets any clearer than what Chicago State did over the weekend.
DD mega doo-doo.
All right, on to the do this story, and I just wanted to give a nice bit of congratulations to the 2 newest members of the Breitbart Hall of Fame, inducted last night at ceremonies put on by our friend Annie Heilbrunn. They had the big ceremony and dinner to honor Steven Strasburg and Barry Zito, who are both inducted into the Breitbart Hall of Fame, honoring some of San Diego's most legendary athletes. Of course, both coming up through San Diego. Steven Strasburg on his way to San Diego State as well, and eventually winning his World Series title with the Washington Nationals after becoming the #1 pick in the draft. Now back working for San Diego State with the baseball program. And, of course, Barry Zito having his success with the Oakland Athletics after growing up in San Diego as well. I think going to Uni High School and becoming one of the top pitchers in the country. And like Tim Flannry, a guy who's also musically talented with the guitar. He actually moved to Nashville. He lives in Nashville now and concentrates on his music, but he was back in San Diego this week and being honored last night at the Hall of Champions Breitbart Hall of Fame induction dinner, which they do every January. Always do a good job. I'm sorry I missed it this year, being out here in Arizona. They also honor Stars of the Year. Adrian Morejon of the San Diego Padres was honored as one of the Stars of the Year. He was there along with his translator for the night. Ruben Niebla came along, which I thought was very cool to see Ruben there supporting Adrian and acting as translator for the ceremony. Anders Dreyer of SDFC was also honored as one of the Stars of the Year as well, which was pretty cool. And it's always a cool evening to honor some of the greats in San Diego sports. And that is Don't and Do This for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, before we do anything else, first, let me congratulate Bob called in, Bob Hutzler from Chula Vista. Bob, are you there, by the way?
I am here.
Oh, congratulations. Thanks for holding on. Adam says you called in within the 10 minutes, so you are qualified for our grand prize drawing for the night in the Odyssey Suite at Petco Park. Thanks for listening to 97.3 The Fan.
That would be awesome. I listen to you guys every day, so I was excited when I heard my name called this morning. So that's great.
Nice job, Bob. Nice job. Thank you very much. It's just that easy. You can listen again during Braden's show at 1 o'clock today for someone else's chance to win. Adam gets all of your information if he hasn't already. Plus, we get a little breaking news from our friend Katie Wu, who is, of course, now covering the Dodgers for The Athletic. But this is not Dodgers news. This is from her old beat. She says the Arizona Diamondbacks are in serious discussions to acquire third baseman Nolan Arenado from the St. Louis Cardinals. Multiple sources tell The Athletic. So the Cardinals, who unsuccessfully tried to trade Nolan Arenado last offseason, may finally have a taker. And this comes after the Diamondbacks, did not win the Alex Bregman sweepstakes, clearly, since he's going to Chicago, and did not trade Ketel Marte. He remains in Arizona and reportedly will stay there. So question is, how much money are they going to pick up? How much is St. Louis going to pay on Arenado's contract? But Nolan Arenado could be coming back to the NL West, where he started with the Colorado Rockies, moving on to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Speaking of Alex Bregman, some interesting revelations in how that all played out in his signing with the Chicago Cubs and not returning to the Boston Red Sox. We can get to a little bit of that, and we're going to bring back our conversation with Tim Flannry from earlier in the program. It was emotional. It was fantastic. And we'll do that before we wrap up the program all next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
All right, that breaking baseball news is now finalized. Jeff Passan has sent it out. Arizona Diamondbacks acquiring 8-time All-Star third baseman Nolan Arenado in a trade with the St. Louis Cardinals. Sources tell ESPN Arenado has agreed to waive his no-trade clause, and the deal is done. First on it, Katie J. Woos. So Nolan Arenado returning to the NL West. The Diamondbacks did not, of course, get Alex Bregman, so they get third baseman Nolan Arenado instead. No idea what kind of money is being exchanged in this deal. But Adam was telling me that, was it AJ Pierzynski had some interesting insight into how the end of the Alex Bregman free agent negotiations played out with Boston. Sounds like the Boston Red Sox really wanted to keep him, but didn't want to keep bidding against themselves for his services and didn't believe that he had the offer from the Cubs that he had, Adam?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. This is AJ Pierzynski, former Major League catcher.
Okay.
Obviously, he's a cast member on Foul Territory. This is from yesterday's show.
They made an offer to Alex Bregman early in the offseason and said, here it is. And his camp kept going back saying, that's not our market. Our market's higher than that. And it made Alex a little bit mad, and they would not move. So then the Red Sox were like, okay, well, take it or leave it. And they will not budge. Then Bregman's camp with Boris goes back to him and says, hey, we have a higher offer, and we're going to probably take it. And the Red Sox were like, we don't believe you. If you can do it, do it. And then they said, okay, well, we're going to sign. We're not telling you the number. We're going to sign with a different team. And that's when the Red Sox went to this 5-165. But Bregman was already one mad, and two had a higher offer. And the longer, the more they tried to stretch it out, the longer and farther down the road the deferrals got. So Bregman's like, I'm getting more money in a shorter amount of time. I'm going to the Cubs.
What does he owe the Red Sox?
Nothing. That's what I'm saying. But the Red Sox literally would not move and would not budge and really wouldn't negotiate until it was almost, well, it wasn't almost too late. It was too late.
And then, Ben, in the Boston Globe, Pete Abraham reported today that Bregman was prepared to accept 5 years and $165 from them, but the team balked at giving him a no-trade clause and insisted on deferred payments that reduced the present-day value of the contract. Abraham says that had the Red Sox granted him no trade protection and negotiated more favorable deferrals, Bregman would still be with the team. He notes that Craig Breslow's three predecessors, Ben Sherrington, Dave Dombrowski, and Chaim Bloom, all lasted an average of 4 years, and Breslow's already over 2 years into the job. They obviously traded Rafael Devers after signing him to a long-term extension. And so the no trade clause, the security of knowing he'd be in Boston for the length of his contract was important to Bregman.
Well, it's the reason that I know I could never do AJ Preller's job, because how do you ever know? I mean, every agent's going to say, oh, we have a higher offer. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll have to increase my offer. Oh, guess what? We just got another higher offer. At some point, you have to stick your foot in the sand. You have to draw a line and go, we're not going to go any higher. You can say you have another offer all you want, but this is what we think you're worth. We think you're worth a lot. I mean, it's not like they weren't offering $150+ million, but at some point you can't just keep going up. Oh no, we got another higher offer. If I'm a good agent, I'm always saying to the teams, yeah, no, we just got another great offer. You're going to have to up your deal again. Where does it ever end? You have to draw your line in the sand somewhere. Adam, I know if Woods was here, he'd say the same thing. Like, well, we got contract negotiations coming up this year. If we just keep telling you, oh, we got a better offer from another station, you just have to keep increasing your offer every single time. It's an untenable place to be. But in this case, it ended up burning the Boston Red Sox badly.
Isn't it
burning them badly?
But isn't it Craig Breslow's job to know what else is out there, what other offers are out there?
But it's also the jobs of the other GMs not to let it out like what they're offering. I mean, they're trying to keep this process as secret as possible. So you can't get every information. You can't know every offer that every agent is getting from every front office in baseball. That would be collusion, by the way. They can't share that information. So that's part of the rules of free agency, that they can't do that. So it has to be kind of a secret process, and you're going to make mistakes in that process sometimes. I don't know. I think it's fascinating. Did Alex Bregman really want to stay with Boston and just ended up getting pushed to the Chicago Cubs in the end? Probably. But I bet that happens more often than we actually realize in Major League Baseball contract negotiations. All right, let's check traffic. When we come back, if you missed it, we had an amazing conversation with Tim Flannry earlier this morning. gets emotional talking about his good friend Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead, who passed away just recently. Talked about AJ Preller and his first ever conversation with AJ. All coming up after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Things are starting to wind down a bit on our freeways. We still have this collision on northbound 5 near the 54. It's in the center divide. Fortunately, not really causing any slowing. Westbound King Freeway near College. Accident in the center divide. We're seeing quite a few brake lights approaching that. Traveling on South 5 Coastline just past Encinitas Boulevard. There's a collision involving a couple vehicles there over to the right shoulder. We also have a crash involving a big rig and a car southbound 15 before Deer Springs Road there over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
You were moving very well yesterday out at Instructs, and it got me thinking again, Flan. I said it this morning. It's probably it should not be a hot take, but my take is you belong on a major league team in a major league clubhouse for 162. You really do. I mean, I watch you. I watch how you handle all these morons out here, myself included. And I know how you speak about the game. I hear how you speak about the game. You're all heart. You're all soul. Is that something you would be interested in taking that phone call?
And I'm going to tell you what has happened here. Last year here at the Fantasy League, one of the players, I just explained to him, they were running into outs on the bases.
Oh, I can relate. Yeah.
We were down 4 runs in the last inning, and we had 2 outs left, and guys were just running into outs. So I got them together and said, hey, if you guys were going to go to the Himalayas or go find the greatest god of the game, to go find the great spirit, the most genius baseball mind in the world, you'd have to get on an airplane and fly to the Himalayas. And then you'd have to rent a burro and a guide and go up into that beyond the clouds, up into the sacred place where the greatest god of the game lives. And you know what you would find? A scoreboard.
Yeah.
A scoreboard. It'll teach you how to run. It'll teach you where to throw. It'll teach you how to pitch. The next day, we're getting a team photo, and I go, where's so-and-so, the guy I kind of directed everything at? They said, you haven't heard, Flan? I go, no. He goes, he packed his stuff up and left and said, you ruined his fantasy. So my point here, AJ Preller got word of this story, and it was from all the guys that were there.
Sure.
They're still laughing. And I've never talked to AJ Preller in my life. And I get these text messages during a playoff game that I'm watching, and I'm going, somebody's screwing.
Somebody's messing with me.
I'm not even going to answer. So I go out and I get the message, and he's laughing on the message. Says, call me. I want to talk to you. So I call him, and he goes, we might need something like this. Yeah! And I immediately said, AJ, I don't want, this was before the manager said, I don't want to manage. I don't want to coach. But what I can do, I can come once a homestand at 2:00 and hit grounders and fungos because I loved it for an hour with my grandkid, and then I'm going home.
What'd he say?
I don't know. We still are going
All
back
right.
and forth.
Well, you've got a dialogue. The dialogue is now open.
I'm telling you, there's nothing it has to happen. I mean, first of all, you're an elite fungo hitter. I mean, you're absolutely elite fungo hitter. And I think just being able to be around guys again at that level is where you belong. And I know you have so many other interests. You're such a Renaissance man. And I think if you would do that, I think your presence being around the San Diego Padres in 2026, I'll tell you what, it's not going to lose us any games. That I promise you. It's not going to lose us any games.
Well, I'm going to leave before the game.
Which is fine. But any advice or wisdom that you could pass on to the Jake Cronenworths of the world, the Manny Machados of the world, the Xander Bogarts of the world.
I get it, but I also respect all the coaches who are infield coaches and respect the people they hire.
Sure.
Because, number one, they go through the grind. They go through the 162 games in 180 days. You're going through spring training. I would never, it's like somebody coming up to me. I would never be around anybody enough to know their tendencies. And as coaches, we coach tendencies. And as a third base coach, I I was pretty damn good at the end of it. I tell the people in San Francisco, you guys saw me the last 8 years, but I did it for like 20 years. And you have to go through all these things. But you could be the best third base coach and go to another team. But if you don't know the tendencies of the players, because that's what we do as coaches, we coach tendencies. You know the guys that run and don't look for the ball. You know the guys that get good secondary leads and their personality. So it's very difficult to do that, but I got an hour for them once every homestand if they need me.
I love it.
It's one of the great, ironies of sports. And A.J. Preller was given a long enough amount of time. He's gotten better at his job over the last 10 years. He learns from his mistakes. He learns more about his players, coaches, clubhouse, where he makes better hires and signings. We've seen managers, the same thing. But so often now, Flan, you get maybe 2 years, and if you haven't turned your team around or gotten them to the World Series, they clean out the coaching staff and they bring in a whole new one. They don't get the time to learn all the tendencies and everything they need to know to actually be successful at their job.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a difficult thing for really the general managers and the coaches, because there's a demand. When there's a demand, and that's what you need as a fan base, to demand winning. I know when I went up north, if we didn't win, I called the crew up there, the fans, they were the mob. And if you didn't win, they're going to run you out of town. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but that was the reality. And you felt it every night.
Talking to Tim Flannry here from Padres Fantasy Camp. Tim, some of the entertainment last night had the famous batting stance guy come in and do some of your former teammates, some of your coaches, and he did you as well. I wanted to get your impression because I thought he pretty nailed it.
He's great. He last time he did an impression on me, I saw it on television when he did the '84 Padres. And he had a cool blonde wig.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got here, I looked at him. I introduced myself. I go, "Where's your wig?"
Well, you had some good lettuce back in the day, didn't you?
It was thin. It was thin.
Your grandson.
I always said I have fine hair, the kind you find on the floor.
Fine on the floor. And your grandson Jesse is the same. It's
right.
The exact same. You see that blonde, tough Flannry coming up, on the back of his jersey. It's the sweetest thing. So I want to go back to you talk. Every time you talk, you're such a soulful. This is such more than a game or a living to you. It's in you. It's in your heart. It's in your soul. The way you speak about the game with such reverence. And you know what I love about you too. You're as old school as it gets. But man, do you appreciate these new guys and how strong and talented and how hard they throw, and you have a lot of respect for the modern game as well.
I do, but I understand throwing as hard as you can for 4 innings, 5 innings. But the art of pitching, and Randy Jones would be the first one to tell you this, the movement and the placement and the pitching. And so the guy's going, Jimmy Lincecum, when he threw a no-hitter against the Padres, Boch let him go 147 pitches, and that was no big deal. He was built for it because he trained all through the minor leagues. These guys were getting 180 innings, 190 innings, and they were actually getting prepared for it. But all of that's gone now, and I get it because everybody's getting paid so much. That's why you can't break up double plays. You can't run people over. I'm in there talking to Timpy, and Timpy's telling stories about a couple of our fights that we had, and some of those players just their mouths drop open,
Yeah. I think a lot of people think, and they point out, that generation was different than this generation, but I found that players aren't that much different. It's really the front offices. They would have been sad if someone took you out at second and you were out for a month with a broken ankle or something, but you weren't getting paid $30 million a year.
Yep.
And they do not want to lose those, investments that they make.
We were collateral damage.
Yeah, exactly. You were just collateral. That was part of the entertainment back then. Oh, fans love this. We'll just put another guy in there and he can get damaged tomorrow. Now, when they're paying these guys, they're like, we can't afford to let these guys get hurt.
It's
we're paying
true,
them
and
too
I
much.
understand that
so
now.
it's like,
the bigger bases.
Don't touch those guys out there. They are too valuable.
I wanted to mention, we did not mention this on the show, but you lost a dear friend and a musical icon in Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead. Bob Weir joined the Grateful Dead when he was 16 years old and just played his last concert 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago in Golden Gate Park. And not only a friend, but a guy that you got to jam with and make music with. And we got a few minutes left. I wanted you to talk on Bobby Weir for a second, if you could.
He's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul. And I was not a deadhead. I did nothing. I had no idea about. I mean, I knew they were the Grateful Dead, but I didn't follow them. I wasn't really into the music at that time. And when that fan got beat up, Brian Stowe up there. When I went up there, I wasn't going to let anybody know about my music. I was just going to, I had a 2-year contract, Boach and I did, no guarantees. I go, I'm not going to let anybody know about anything about me. I'm just going to coach. It didn't happen. And when Brian Stowe got hurt, they called me and said, we'd like you to start because we know you can do it, do a couple benefits for him to raise some money. So I brought my varsity lunatic fringe band up there, who are as good as they get. And we were playing a show, and now I get this message from Bobby Weir that he wants me to come out to a studio. And I looked at a guy who was a deadhead on the bus. I go, do you know Bobby Weir? He went nuts. I said, all right, well, I'm going to go see him on a day off. So I went up and spent the day at his studio, and he goes, I don't know what we're going to do. Let me slumber on it. So anyway, he called me and said, I want to help you with these shows. So him and I started playing shows. I had to learn a bunch of dead songs because I didn't know any of them. And it was just wonderful. And our relationship just kept growing. He brought me to places. Him and Jackie Green, a solo acoustic, and I posted it on my band page.
I saw this.
I fly in from Maui, and they have sold out the Balboa Theater in San Diego. And I go, Bobby, you're in my hometown. I'd love to see the show. Can you leave me a ticket? He goes, oh yeah, Tim. Yeah. Hey, bring your guitar and amp and be there at 4 for sound check. I played 6 songs in this concert. I'm on stage going, all I wanted was
I just want to watch.
I wanted a ticket. And our relationship went on and on and on. And that's when him and Phil Lesh asked me to sing the national anthem because Jerry Garcia had passed. And so they sent me, and I never wanted to sing the anthem at the time because it was a very difficult vocal range. But they sent me, and this is one of the greatest lessons that Bobby told me, and I never knew about it until recently. It took a while for me to understand it. But I wanted to go over it one more time, the national anthem, because I was supposed to sing this high harmony that Jerry Garcia used to sing. And I'm coaching in the World Series in like 5 minutes after the anthem, So right before I go, hey, Bobby, we already practiced it 2 or 3 times. I go, can we go over it one more time? He goes, come on, Tim, don't take the sport out of it. Oh. And I had no idea really what that meant until now because I'm addicted to playing that show, solo, duo, with the whole band. How are we going to do it? How are we going to pull it off? Being in the moment, not always having it so perfect where you have to listen to every note and make it. You have to be in the moment and be a part of the song. And that's one of the lessons.
That's profound.
And when I had staph infection and I was dying in the hospital 5 years ago, I was in there for 2 months. COVID, nobody could come in. I didn't know where I was. I was tied down at nighttime. Bobby would text me or call me. Like once a week, I'm going, how did this happen?
Yeah, it's a dream. It's a dream. And what a lesson that is right there.
Amazing stuff from Tim Flannry from Fantasy Camp. We are done for the show. Pauline Woods will be back here today. Tomorrow, 6 to 10, I'll be back in the studios. But appreciate everyone here at the San Diego Padres for making me feel welcome again. Thanks to Adam Klug back in our studios. More baseball news with Braden coming up next year. Don't go away. Have a great rest of your Tuesday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.